Alright guys, I'm assuming, well, you know what, let me load it up on my phone to make sure that we are streaming. Yep, okay, I guess it's working. Alright. Okay, so, I'm sort of going to play Guild Wars 2 a little bit here. But I'm also going to, I fixed my audio levels a little bit more, because I always hate it when people make videos and the audio, let me change it even more. And like they're playing music.
I wouldn't recommend bringing your kid there.
They're playing music or like the volume of the game like really drowns them out.
Locals kick up their
you know what I
boots
can
and
do?
forget about the problems outside city walls. Some get a little
Let's test the volume.
excitable
Yeah, I mean, I'm a
after
little bit,
reaching the bottom
this
of
is
their
the game
cups.
down here, and then this is me. So I think it's still probably a little bit too loud.
Thanks for your help.
So I'm going to turn it down a little bit more. And I'm going to hope that that does the trick. Let me see if I can find another chatty Cathy, some people chatting. Get into a conversation, ladies.
I didn't see you there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Where did he?
That's not what I wanted.
He's probably down at the pub again.
Yeah, he is. Tell us about it. Tell us about it. Before I cast a spell on it. Didn't work. Okay, someone say something. I always hate it when people make.
Sharpshooters out there want an opportunity to prove themselves? Do I have the place for you?
Let's see. Dude, come on, man. You're killing me. You're killing me. Say something for long enough that I can Alt-Tab out. Please. Okay. You know what? Meet. East. Okay, we're going. Let's just go get in a fight. How about that? We will gauge things by getting into a fight. Where's the closest waypoint? I'm going to call this the closest waypoint. Do I want to save 2 copper? No. Let's spend some money. We're big spenders. But yeah, I hate it when people, they play a game or they watch a video and then they get drowned out. Their voice gets drowned out by the, like whatever game they're playing or some background music. And I hate that. So I lowered the volume of the game. Let's get in the fight. And, you know, I'm louder than it, but maybe I could be... Maybe I could be... Maybe I could be a little bit louder than it still. So, let me adjust the levels a little bit more. But anyways, I hate when people get drowned out. You know, they're like doing a tutorial. They're like, hey guys, here's how to make your computer quit catching fire. You know, is your computer on fire? Let me teach you how to put it out. And then like they put up it, and then like some background music starts, and then you can't fucking hear them like at all. And that annoys me like crazy. So we're gonna try. You know, we've got. I think we have our audio pretty good. I think we have our audio pretty good. You know, here I'm a little loud. I could probably lower that down to like -8. You know, but I think we've got our audio pretty good. And it's just making small tweaks from here on out. I think I've got the echo removed, both echoes removed, because there's 2 echoes. There was, well, I ran into 2 echoes. One is an echo, like if I have the stream playing on my phone and the volume is up, it goes from my computer to OBS, which we'll say is up here, to YouTube, which is over here, right? And then it plays from YouTube on my phone. It feeds back into my microphone, which means OBS is recording it, you know, which means it's going to YouTube, which means it's playing on my phone, which means if my phone is loud, the microphone's recording it, and it's just a nasty cycle. And there's about like a 10-second delay in that cycle. I don't know. I didn't time it, you know, but there's like a 10-second delay. What the hell? Leave me alone. I'm sorry. What are you doing? Damn, dude, they got a whole ass city. But yeah, there's like a delay involved in that whole thing. And so that one's like really easy to... Bro. That one's easy to spot because like you'll quit talking and then you'll continue to hear your voice or something like that. Or like there'll be NPC dialogue and you know, for 5 seconds after the NPC dialogue stops, like you continue to hear talking. And so that's, you know, pretty easy to figure out, like something's up. In fact, it'll loop over and over and over and over again if the feedback loop is capable of sustaining itself. So that one's like pretty easy to figure out, oh, something's wrong, you know? And so I figured out on stream, I don't know what that person is. It's an NPC of some kind. What are they doing? That one's pretty easy to figure out and like notice. But then I went back to one of my earlier live streams and there was like an immediate echo where it's like, you know, echo, 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 you know? Like if you were to snap your finger, it would go like... That's my sound effect. That's going to be the sound effect for it. Okay, that's supposed to be, you know, snapping your finger. And so that one, it's hard to notice because it all happens like it's a 1/10 of a second echo. It's like the original sound and then like a 20th of a second later or a 1/10 of a second later it goes again and then it goes again and then it goes again. And then it like fades out after like a 1/4 of a second or something. And so you don't really notice that one as much. How do I get around this? Let me zoom out. I don't want to swim. I'm going to run around this bandit camp. And so that one's harder to notice, you know, because it's echoing. It's probably quicker than a 1/10 of a second. It's probably like a 20th of a second or even like a 50th of a second. I don't know. But but then it fades out because it's not self-sustaining. It's not loud enough to sustain itself with the settings that I had. So I didn't notice it until I went back and like watched a bit of the stream and like the NPC dialogue. Also, NVIDIA broadcast was causing all sorts of problems with my in-game audio. And there's probably some aspect of it that I liked. Am I gonna? Yeah, I'm gonna be able to get out of here. There's probably some aspect of NVIDIA broadcast that I liked. Maybe I'll do a tutorial video about NVIDIA broadcast and NVIDIA's software. But there's probably some aspect of NVIDIA broadcast that I liked, but you know, when it was modifying my computer's audio to quote unquote, like remove the echo and stuff like that.
Glad I didn't pay attention to my dream. Palan, can you teach me how to track?
Yeah,
Tracking is a discipline.
that's
Years to understand the
maybe a little high, but whatever. I'll go back and I'll watch the stream and make sure that it's not too ridiculous. But anyways, the NVIDIA broadcast was like removing the echo from my desktop audio, from my computer's audio. No, stay in the world. It was removing the echo and it was like modifying it and removing the noise and stuff like that. And so what it was actually doing, it was removing like
Interesting.
the game audio was considered noise. And so when it was doing like noise cancellation, it would like literally like erase the audio from the game. Like the NPCs, what was funny is if you were like face towards them, you could almost always hear what they were saying. Maybe not always, but like quite a bit of the time. But as soon as you like turned away, they went, you couldn't hear them at all. So like if that guy was talking to me and I turned like this, he would like quit talking until like I wouldn't hear him at all, or maybe only like at 10% volume until I turned back towards him, you know, or if I turned away. It's like very weird where it's like somehow it knew, like if you consider this NPC, if I'm looking at him, the foreground of the scene, or like the who I'm attempting to talk to, and then if you consider like something behind me, like noise, like if this guy right here was yelling and screaming, somehow it knew directionally that that was not where I was looking. And so it would like filter it out. I don't know how. Maybe that's based upon, you know, maybe it looks at surround sound type stuff and it says, oh, that's, you know, near the rear. That's going to be going to like the rear speakers. That was recorded not, you know, in front of the camera, so to speak. And so if it's behind the camera, it's probably noise. And if it's in front of the camera, like the center speaker and like a surround sound speaker or a surround sound system, or like one of the ones off to the side but still in front, like those are what they're trying to record, and what's behind is like noise that needs to be, you know, erased. And so the NVIDIA broadcast was like filtering out that audio. It was doing stuff like that. And even when it was in front, even when they were in front, it would still sometimes mess with the audio. So for right now, I've got NVIDIA broadcast turned off. There's also the speaker aspect of it, and then there's the microphone aspect of it. And I forget what the problem with each one was, or if it was only a problem with the speaker aspect of it. But there was some kind of problem where it was like, at least one of them has a problem. I think it's the speakers. Like, so NVIDIA broadcast has like microphone, speakers, so microphone noise cancellation, and like echo removal. And it has like other effects you can add to it. And then in the center tab, it has speakers. So like the audio that's playing on your computer, or the audio that's playing on your computer because it's part of a video, or the audio that's playing on your computer because you're playing a video game. It alters that audio. So if you're watching a YouTube video that was recorded in a super echoey place, it will take the echo out. Or if you're watching a YouTube video that was, you know, recorded in a restaurant, it'll attempt to take the noise out. Well, that was messing with my game noise, with my game audio, leading to a lot of the stuff that I just talked about. So that was the speaker section. That was the speaker section where, you know, for some reason it doesn't detect that the audio is coming from a video game, or maybe it just doesn't care because it's just like, oh, I need to remove it either way. But you know, I would want all of the game audio in the stream, right? Because it's not, you know, the clacking of plates. What's funny is it didn't take out like any, like I'm over here like typing, let's say, didn't remove any of that. So I don't know if I'm just using NVIDIA broadcast wrong. I need to look into that. But I noticed that it didn't remove basically any of the clickety-clackety, didn't remove any of my mouse noise, any of this, any of that, but it did like murder my in-game audio, you know, And not only in the stream. In fact, the stream was better than what was coming across on my computer. I think the stream might have actually, the in-game audio in the stream might have been fine, but in real life, it was getting massacred. So, you know, I need to work on that. But I think I've got the audio settings good. I haven't checked on my phone. In fact, I'll demonstrate the YouTube feedback loop. I don't know that anybody's currently watching. No one's watching right now. But anyways, if I'm playing, assuming, well, you know what? So I've got the stream up. And if I have volume up on it, it'll create like a feedback loop. So I'll go ahead and like play the stream. And this right here should echo again and again and again. You know, I need to work on that, but I think I've got the audio settings good. I haven't checked on my phone. In fact, I'll demonstrate the YouTube feedback loop. I don't know that anybody's currently watching. No one's watching right now. But anyways, if I'm playing, assuming, well, you know what? So I've got the stream up. And if I have volume up on it, is this gonna work? I don't know that it's gonna work. It'll create like a feedback loop. So I'll go ahead and like play the stream, and this right here should echo again and again and again. You know, I need to work on that, but I think I've got the audio settings good. I haven't checked on my phone. In fact, I'll demonstrate the YouTube feedback loop. I don't know that anybody's currently watching. No one's watching right now. But anyways, if I'm playing, assuming, well, you know what? So I've got the stream up. Check on my phone. In fact, I'll demonstrate the YouTube feedback loop. I don't know that anybody's currently watching. No one's watching right now. But anyways, if I'm playing, assuming. So I'm gonna pause the stream or close out the stream on my phone, but that was just playing the one copy of the audio again and again. It wasn't like layering on top of each other. Sometimes it'll layer on top of each other. It's not just a matter of repeating over and over again, but it will actually layer. It'll become like multiple copies, like going off at the same time. And but that's the YouTube feedback loop, and it's delayed. You know, it's like, you know, audio from 10 seconds ago, 20 seconds ago that's feeding back into the microphone, going back to YouTube, rebroadcasting, you know, and this, that, and the other. But if I had my computer speaker up, like maybe it would be doing it a little bit worse. And if I had this in-game volume up, if I had the stream playing from from like a browser tab. So if I clicked on here, that's not the right video, but if I clicked on here, it's funny that I got way more views for Everquest 2 than Guild Wars 2. I have a social media account that has like several thousand followers. Or a few thousand followers. I'm not going to plug that here plug this channel using that account because I'm a little politically incorrect in some ways. So I'm not going to do that. I could get a few dozen viewers, maybe even hundreds of viewers, but I'm not going to do that because I'm a little controversial. But anyways, that's a demonstration of the YouTube feedback loop. It didn't layer on top of each other like multiple copies where it was like, you know, echoing and echo. It was echoing but one time. It was repeating but one time. when it starts layering on top of each other, it's like multiple copies. I'm sure you guys kind of understand. But that's the YouTube feedback loop. There's a delay in it. The other one, you know, is much quicker. It's like if I don't even remember what it came from. If it was a NVIDIA broadcast thing, or if it was an OBS setting, or just the fact that I had, I don't know what it was, but I did manage to eliminate the echo, I think. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the stream and make sure that the audio is okay. But anyways, I'm working on audio issues, hoping to get it, you know, worked out. And, you know, just for anyone who's, you know, who might come across this video and wonder what I'm using a lavalier microphone, which is probably not the greatest way to do this. And then that's put into a transmitter pack, and then that transmitter pack broadcasts to a receiver pack that goes into a little cheap little mixer. It's like $50. I don't like to share exact details, but it's like $50. And it's just a little audio mixer. You can adjust the volumes, just sort of like, you know, you see here this mixer with the volumes, and then you can like mute stuff and unmute it. It's just a physical copy of that, and it's also got like a voice changer. Should I mess with the voice changer? Here's
voice number 1, I don't know what it's doing.
It's not like it was easy.
Here's voice number 2. I also don't know what that's doing.
Voice number 3, I don't know how many others there are. I think there's 3 or 6 or something here, but I'm gonna press it again. I guess this is voice number 4.
And then voice number 5 is here.
And then voice number 6 is here. So I think, like, you know, how do I get rid of it? Go away. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do I have to hold down on it?
There we go. So now we're back to, you have to hold down on it to make it go away. I think like one of them makes you into like some sort of burly man, and one of them makes you into like a female, and one of them makes you into a monster, and one of them makes you into like a robot or something. So, but it's just a little mixer. So it goes from the lavalier microphone into a transmitter pack, into a receiver. This is wireless, right? It's one of the things that like news people use or interview people use. They put a lavalier microphone on the person they're interviewing. It's one of the ways that they do it. The audio is not as good, especially when you're using a system as old as the one that I'm using. It's, I don't know, I bought it in like 2008 or so. But it gets transmitted wirelessly into the receiver, which then goes into the mixer, which then goes into, I don't know, it goes into either the line in or the microphone input on my computer, and then it goes into like the software and stuff. And I got this slider here, and right now I'm not running NVIDIA Broadcast, which again is an echo reduction and a noise reduction thing for both your microphone and your speaker. It also has stuff for video capture, so like it can blur the background behind you. It can also replace the background behind you. It's not very good at doing that. Like it's good, but it's not like amazing at it. So I'm probably gonna get a green screen if I you know think about actually streaming. So you know, that's that.
Like my dream, so I didn't really pay
but still working on the audio issues. Maybe I got them figured out. Maybe I don't. But it's, well, I don't want to say it's pretty close, because if there's an echo in the audio, then that's bad. And if I could figure out how to remove like my keyboard noise, that would be great. And maybe I just need to go to a different microphone. Maybe the lavalier microphone is the is not the play. Maybe that's not the way to go. But you know, might have that figured out and fixed. Might not. Moving on. Yes. Go to a different map. One of the good things about the mixer is it's got a mute microphone. So I just took a sip from a drink, right? Drinking some iced tea. If I wanted to press the mute button, I could mute my microphone. So, you know, you don't have to hear every single thing. I have not muted my microphone this whole time, but if I wanted to, if I needed to sneeze or something or cough or whatever, it's got a mute button. It's got 4 little volume sliders. You know, it's all right. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's I don't know exactly fully how to use it, but it's okay. It's not an expensive model. It's not like a 200, 300, 500 you know, type of deal. It's I think it's about $60. So the lavalier microphone system is actually a lot more expensive. Those are several $100s. You know, I don't know what the cheapest you could get is, but I wouldn't recommend. You know what? I probably wouldn't recommend a lavalier microphone. I'd probably recommend like some sort of desktop microphone with like a breath guard type thing on it. And I don't know how streamers. You know, maybe like, you know, my mouse is here on like a table. I need to get a pad that would, you know, cut down. Hold on, let me look at the microphone levels. Yeah, it's there, but it's not too loud. But maybe that would help cut down on the noise. And, you know, maybe just getting a better keyboard that doesn't sound so crappy. Like, there's stuff about this keyboard. It's a working keyboard. It's fine. But in terms of the sound of the keys, you know, it doesn't make for a good audio experience for streaming, you know. So it sounds like the keys like creak, you know, if you go like that. So that's like me wiggling my finger over the key. But so I'm not like pressing any keys there. I'm just like wiggling my finger on the keys, on one key. And so it makes it sound like the keyboard is creaking, like a creaky old staircase. And it's not great, you know, that's not great. And then even the key presses are not great. You know, they don't sound like clickety clackety, like all, you know, cool, you know. Look, I mean, realistically, I don't care, right? But, you know, in terms of creating good audio on a YouTube stream or on a Twitch stream or something like that, it makes for, you know, something that doesn't sound as good. So, you know, if you're out there thinking about streaming, and you're like, oh, what should I get? You know, unfortunately, to some extent, unless you can find a way to remove the keyboard noise from the stream without screwing up your game audio and without screwing up your normal audio, unless you can find a way to do that, you know, you're kind of stuck having to get a, whatever they call those whatever they call the fancy keyboards with the fancy keys, They go clickety-clack as opposed to mushy, creaky nonsense. I forget what they call them. Physical keyboards or tactile switches or something. I don't know what the hell they call it.
Our deeds are reflected in the dream.
So, you know, if you're going to try to get into streaming, you might have to get a fancy keyboard on account of that, even if you don't want to spend the money. You know, it's probably worth it to get a $150 or so desktop microphone. Maybe even one on an arm, you know, which might cost, you know, once you add in the arm. So you can move it towards your face, you can move it away from your face. That might cost you like an extra $100 or so. But, you know, those are, and headphones maybe, to have the in-game audio in your ear, but not in the open air where it can go into your microphone. So
when Zaitan rose,
here's an
countless
NPC
undead
dialogue.
spewed into the lads. They seem to bubble up
It's,
all
you know,
over,
it's there.
especially in this swamp.
Is it too loud? It might be too
Shadowheart
loud.
was set up to contain the undead, but holding so many back is a struggle.
Okay.
There's an
Let
assuring
me lower the audio level once again. This is getting like really low, it seems.
when Zaitan rose, countless undead
I don't know if
spewed
it went
into the
down at
lands.
all.
They seem to bubble up all over.
I turned it down. I don't know if it
especially in
actually
this swamp.
listened.
Shadowheart was set
okay.
up to contain the
Thank you for your service. Salute. There we go. I saluted you. Thank you for your audio service, your voice acting.
I like waiting around. It gives me a chance to ask more questions. Like, I know
But yeah, those are expenses like that you might have to think about getting if you're going to do a stream. OBS is free. The NVIDIA broadcast software is free if you can get it to work for you, but it might also cause problems. But yeah, a good keyboard and a decent microphone is something, and maybe like a whole desk mouse pad, like they call it a desk pad, and maybe even a fancy mouse that might sound better. Because, and you know, if it makes the stream better, it makes the stream better. So I might have to upgrade my keyboard if I like decide to do this. I might have to upgrade my keyboard and stuff, so it doesn't sound like shit, you know. I probably have like one viewer and I just said a bad word and now they're like, oh, I'm out of here. But yeah, you might have to upgrade those things if you think about streaming. But I'm still figuring it out. Toxic Alchemist event up. Can I go there? It's not far. I don't know what it is, but it's not far, so I'm going. I could do my story mode back there at that waypoint. Can I turn around without it? Nope. I can, as long as I keep the mouse pressed down, I guess I can. I'm not going to do the story mode. I'm not going to try to talk and like read at the same time. That sounds like difficult, and I'm probably not that talented. So we're just gonna go over here and like follow some crowd of people, probably, and mash buttons. You know, I'm a button masher at this point. That's where I am. Like, you know, I haven't played video games in like, you know, however many years, and I'm a button masher at this point. That's what I've been reduced to. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Talking while playing a video game is hard. It's a skill. And it's a skill that I probably currently don't have, especially because I've never played this game. That might have something to do with it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Go up. Thank you. What is this? They're green. Kill the green. Can I go up? Can you get out of here?
pushing it.
What am I doing? Help, like, I don't know. I'm just doing stuff. Let's just do stuff. Press buttons. Buttons go clickety clack. Help me. I'm stupid. Oh, it's a nasty NPC who's oh. They're dead. You dead. I don't get any loot. Thanks. Oops. I need to pay attention. That was not the best, that was not the best aim there. You know, video game plus talking plus I probably already have like ADHD or ADD or something, so it's like, you know, it's a problem. What is next? What are we fighting? Where's the bad guy? Is it the spider? What's the bad guy? It's like those mushroom things or whatever. So yeah, what else did I want to talk about? I don't know what else I wanted to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about GamersNexus. And that's a stream that I might actually get some views on. Well, not a stream. I'm just going to make a video. But that's a video that I might actually get some views on. Ooh, scary. Hey, whoa, stay away from me. Stay on that guy. What is my fingers on? My finger.
Get back here.
So, yeah, I'm gonna do a video on GamersNexus. I feel like GamersNexus, like some of the content that they do is, oh, I was gonna talk about Guild War versus Everquest, like what the differences are. First of all, the graphics are way better in this game, and the population's amazing. Like, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. I don't know who these people are. They're just people who are out here. And I'm out here in, like, literally almost in the middle of nowhere. Like, I don't know how the rest of the map. Here's another person. Right? I think that was the person who we just fought with alongside. We just partnered up with them. I'm going to go up here because there's a town in that direction. And there's going to be people in the town. You know, that's just how it is. And we're probably going to see 5 people on our way there. You know, there's people
You're kidding, right?
all over the place in this game. But I am out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm very far from, there's a person right there, and they're fast as hell because they are a subscriber and pay to win, and I'm free to play. I'm a little, you know, bump on a log here, and just a little nobody. So they get to run super fast, and I'm screwed. I think that's a person that we haven't seen yet. I don't know. But, you know, in terms of this game versus EverQuest 2, the graphics are way better in this game. And it manages to do the graphics, you know, usually without taxing the system too much. Here's a new person. We haven't seen them yet. I don't think, unless they're one of the people who flew by so fast we couldn't see them. Here's some more people. Here's another. And these aren't AI. You know, as far as I can tell, these are not like fake players. You see them AFK, you know, you see them run around, you see them like, you know, do this or do that. Sometimes they act super competently, you know, or they make like mistakes, or they'll talk to you. And it's not just like, oh, hello, adventurer, you know, it's actual like, hey, they'll like post say some sort of meme thing, or whatever. I don't know why I can't get in this door. I probably have to do oh, I know where I am. Yeah, so this is a fort. You have to like run around. Maybe there's a way in, but I don't know it. But they'll like, you know, drop something in the chat like, oh, hey, some NPC is up, help me kill them. You know, they'll be there, they'll ask you like, you know, do you think we can kill them? Are we strong enough? Things like that, things that would suggest that they aren't AI. This is a teleport. Those things are like teleport spots, waypoints, that you can teleport to and from. So sometimes people will, like, they'll port in, they'll go AFK a little bit, you know, and then they'll be like, follow one another, and they'll do that, you know, so they don't appear to be bots, is what I'm saying. So the population, first of all, the graphics are way better here than in Everquest. This is the graphics turned up all the way. I'm sure there are places in the game that look better than this. And it's nighttime. Let me go here. Yeah, this looks as high as it can go. VSync is on. I can probably get like, okay, 200 frames per second. I got an old monitor, so it's 60 hertz. That's what I'm working with right now. Maybe I'll get a new monitor. Who knows? I don't care that much. You know, I'm not playing competitive first-person shooters, so how much do I really care? It might make for a better stream, though, in terms of, like, if I can get 1440p native rendering, that might create a better stream, a better looking stream. Pop my neck real quick. Yeah, I got a bad neck. But it's nighttime, so like, it's 2 a.m. at night. You know, this is what the game looks like at 2 a.m. at night. It looks better during the day, the sun's out. You see these shadows, but you can see them even in the moonlight. They look better in the day, you know? So the game looks better in the day, I think. But even this looks pretty good. It's just not flashy and like something that you really show off. You know, there's another person running away from one of the starting towns. And this is one of many maps. Like, this is a low population map. When you first start the game, or when I first started the game, the map that I was on was significantly more populated. It was also like Friday or something. I don't know when my first day playing this game was, but there was one time where I logged on and it was Saturday, and there was a lot of people on. But this map is a map that's gonna get phased out, because like this, what you've seen so far is considered low population. So this is almost a low population map where they're gonna phase it out and kick you over to a more populated map. Like, this is almost to that level. So this is considered low population, just to put that in perspective. And I'll go to, let me spend some of my in-game money here. Let me quit being a cheap ass. I'll go to a more populated spot. You know, this is a low populated map. Like, if on a high population map, you'd see like twice as many people here. This isn't bad though. And I see some names I recognize. That's another thing. You see some names you recognize a little bit. But not as much as EverQuest. Like EverQuest, you could, like, there is no who command. You know, like, let's say who 40, let's say 30 to 60. You know, unknown command. There's no target command. There's no, like, this person's name is LAE. There's no target command, LAE. It's not like, oh, there's a LAE right there. Oh, target, you know, this person. Like, if there's a big group of like 50 people, you can't really like find your friend very easily. It has no like /TT. It has no like /T tell target. It has no like R to press respond. R runs. Maybe there's a button to push for like to pull up a response to someone who sent you a tell, but whatever it is, I don't know it. So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't have it. But you know, that's not to say that super active 6 skill PW wants you wants you. No rep required. Daily scheduled events, forums, raids, daily WVW. Members 600 plus online. This alliance has 600 people online. What? What? So if I go here, you can have multiple guilds. It's another cool thing about this game. But this guild that I'm in, I'm sure it's nothing special. But it's goddamn like 50 people online. That's insane. And that's another thing. Like the guilds. I mean, that's probably 500 members. What is this? Favor, influence. I don't know how roster. I'm on the roster. I don't know how you can count. Oh, there. Okay, 380. I get maybe 380 is how many we have. I'm guessing, and 37 are online, and you can have multiple. You can be in multiple guilds. So, that's another cool thing about this. You're not stuck in one guild. But yeah, like right here. I mean, you see, there's like 5 people, and there's like another 10 or 12, maybe even 15. So there's just, 20 people right there. And it might have, that might be like 17 people, but, whatever. Whether it's 16 or whether it's 20, who cares, And I'll go up here, and I'll run into another 50 people. Like, as soon as I zone in here, there'll probably be like 2 or 3 at the gate, maybe even 5. And this is an enormous city. Nobody at the gate right now. No one's AFK. But I guarantee you, like, you could run around and find somebody down there easily. Easily. Well, it won't take long. You run into them on accident. And then up here, unless this is a total... This seems like a very low population map. I'm on a very... Hey, can I join? Okay, I'm free to play, so I can't send them a tell because I zoned into the city like a Dumbo. But like, here's, there's 10 people. There's 5 people. There's another 5. There's another 5. So that's like whatever, 25, and then here's another 5. There's like 30 people right here. So the population in this game is pretty high, and that's just one section of the city. This city's gigantic. You'll find people running around. They won't be as concentrated as here, but you'll find them running around here and there. Sometimes there's people out here not doing who knows what. There's 3 more people. I wish I could run faster. Holy cow. There's another 2. There's another person. So, I mean, there's like 10 here. this compared to EverQuest 2 is like wildly different. The problem with EverQuest 1, you know, people hated on POK. POK was great. POK like centralized people in one spot so that you know, could see people. And, you know, maybe be like, oh, you know, you see someone there and then you're like, oh, can you help me? Or just to see them and just to know that you're playing in a game that has people in it. EverQuest 2, they had this guild hall stuff. And everyone's tucked away in their guild hall. And then so when you go out there running around in the world or in a city, like, I mean, there are people in the cities, but not like this. Not like this whole city right here probably has, you know, 200 players in it. I don't know how many. And it's only one of several cities. Like, there are cities, there's this one, and I think that, I mean, I don't know that for a fact. Like, but what's this? I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. It looks big. Doesn't look quite like city. I don't know. But there's like, I think there's starting places for like different races. Maybe this is the only city. It could be the only city. I don't know. I could be stupid. I don't know this game, so I don't know. But on this map, you know, anytime you zone into this, depending on the map and how many people are playing, I mean, there's kind of be anywhere in between, like, let's say 80 and like 300 people running around. Yeah, on just this city. You know, you go outside, there's going to be, outside where I was previously, there's going to be, you know, 15 to 50 people, you know. So the population in this game is significantly higher than EverQuest 1 and 2. The Steam numbers on probably all these games are not accurate because that's only if you launch through the Steam launcher. But it seems like this game, I mean, I really can't tell you because there's like 20 servers on this game and I don't know that they really overlap. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But in EverQuest, they don't overlap. You know, occasionally they'll merge servers and get rid of one of them and merge like 2 into 1 because the population has gotten too low. But here, can the servers like merge and unmerge? Can like people from like 5 different servers be on one map? I don't know. But there's like 20 different servers, so I'm assuming they're all separate. I'm assuming they're all separate and they don't really, they might merge like they do in EverQuest, but I don't think they temporarily merge. So there's like 20. So if you say that there's like, I mean, when you consider how many people might be playing on this whole map, and if that's like not just the city, but the whole world, and which, by the way, I mean, that's that. And then you can like, I don't even know what I just did. Oh, I scrolled to the right. And then you can scroll down. This is ocean. I mean, like, what? I don't, is there something over here? I think there's something over here, way down here. But like over here, you know how many people are playing on this map? I don't know. If there's 200 in the city, or at least there's at least 100, I think that there's about 150 people in the city. You know, and then there's like 50 outside, just in that little area alone. And then there's like multiple, I mean, this game probably has exit the map, don't tab out. It probably has like 50,000 to maybe even 200,000 players. I don't know how many people it has. I really can't tell you. It seems like a lot though. Like on it right now. Not like, oh, they log in once a month. I'm talking about like right now or on a Saturday or whatever. I mean, it might have 50,000 to even 250,000 players. I don't know how many it's got, but it seems like a lot. It's probably not World of Warcraft in its prime, and it's probably gone down from what it was in its prime. Like, you know, like let's say the prime of this game is 2015. You know, they've added on expansions, and don't fall down like a dumbass. They've added on expansions. That's another thing I miss about EverQuest, like floaty boots. I want to be able to float. I want to be able to make jumps. I want to be able to jump from here to the bridge. Maybe even that bridge down there, you know. So, I mean, there might even be like 250,000 people playing this game on like a Saturday. You know, when you consider all the servers, and like each server probably has like a different map, like different maps. Like this is some map, right? But watch it. I'll quit out. Exit to the desktop, and probably what happens. Probably what happens I get put in a new map that probably has, you know, 30 people there. So that was looking pretty sparse. I probably get dumped into a map that has significantly more people. So the graphics are better in this game. It's not to say that EverQuest 2 had like bad graphics, but there's something. Number one, EverQuest 2 doesn't multi-thread, so it's all stuck on one thread on your CPU. That's number one, and then number two, somehow miraculously, I did not get put onto a new map. I'm stuck on this low population map. That's unfortunate. Hopefully they shut this map down. Because they're proving me wrong here when I say this game is high population. Like I said, it's not World of Warcraft in its prime, I'm sure, but it's not bad. Oh, there's the person. Hey, can I join? Question mark. So the graphics are better. The population's better. The quest acquisition is kind of better, but they don't really feel like real quests. They're like little mini events that happen on the map, and you just go over there and you kill 20 things and then you're done, or whatever. So, but things that I miss about EverQuest 2 and EverQuest 1, whatever, is the hotbars. There's a lot less hotbars in this game. There's that. So hotbars are these things right here, with all these little hotkeys and the buttons and the spells and stuff. So in like EverQuest 2, I don't remember. EverQuest 1 had less, but EverQuest 2, you would use like 4 to 6 hotbars. By the time your character was getting up there in levels, you'd use like 4 to 6 hotbars. And so there's 10 buttons each, maybe even 11 buttons each. And you would use, I think it's 10, like 1 through 0. I don't think it went to like minus and equals or minus and plus or whatever. Invite sent, press G to accept. Okay. What the heck? What is this? Oh, that's the roster. VIP? Yes, VIP. Join. So now I'm in 2 guilds. Cool. You can get mounts as a free to play. So the number of hotbars in EverQuest 2, I felt was cool. This is like targeted, so you have to like press the meta or whatever. The best way to play is to be able to press like 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5. And not have to go down to here to the hotbar. So, but in EverQuest, you would like target something and then you would just go press the spells. and there wasn't so much of this targeting. You know, you got to place it. You know, the skills change based upon what weapons you carry, but nonetheless, I'm using the staff. I'm a necromancer using the staff, so this is what I'm dealing with right now. But yeah, you can only have like 1 or 2 hotbars in this game, and then that's it. They rotate as you as they change spell sets as you change your weapon. So you can have like a primary weapon set and a secondary weapon set, and you can change in between that, like even during combat, although I think there's like a 10-second delay. But in Everquest 2, it's like, I mean, you could use 10 hotbars if you wanted, if you were crazy, or at least 9. Maybe you could even use more, I don't know. But I would have like routinely on my characters, I would have 5 or 6 up. I don't think that I would use 7. I think I would make my 6th one like a hotbar with a like a rotator on it, where it could go to, because you could have like 10 hotbars, I think. And so I'd have my 6th hotbar with like a hotbar switcher on it, and so it would be like hotbar 6, and if you pressed like the up arrow, you'd go to 7. If you pressed the up arrow again, it'd go to 8, and this, that, and the other. But anyways, I missed the hotbars from Everquest 2. I missed the binding in the city and gating home. Here you have to like spend money to teleport everywhere, and you don't have like a bind point. You're like, oh, let me just go back home. Boom, click the spell, and then boom, you're home in like 5 seconds or whatever. I miss that about Everquest. This game, there's not much in terms of questing. Like, you don't talk to an NPC, get a quest, and then go do the quest, and then return to the NPC. Like, don't get me wrong, that gets like cumbersome and like meticulous. I don't know. Monotonous. I don't know. It gets annoying, you know. It's kind of a hassle to do to some extent. But it also makes it feel like there's a real quest that you're doing. Whereas in this game, it's just a whole bunch of mini events. You just run somewhere on the map, and then it's like, boom, you know, here's a quest. Kill centaurs, or kill turtles or something, and kill bandits. And you just kill the bandits, and then it's like, oh, congratulations, you know. So it doesn't have quite the real quest feel to it. It's kind of more fun as a new player, but like to some extent it gets a little monotonous in terms of, you know, you just run around the map doing mini events. Whereas Everquest 2, there's actually like real NPCs that you talk to. What's funny is this city's gigantic. Like there's probably like 500 named NPCs on that map, and like another 5,000 that are just like villager, you know, child, you know, policeman or whatever, guard, you know. So there's like the NPCs and the village for a lot of quests, but there's not, you know, it's not like go over here, talk to this person, go over here, talk to that person. There's significantly less of that compared to Everquest. What the hell happened? I thought I was invited to a guild. There's a mosquito flying around. Let me go get my, I have a secret weapon. I'm actually walking around because I'm on a transmitter pack, so I don't have to. That is one thing that's cool about having a lavalier microphone with a transmitter pack. I could go to the kitchen, like cook something, or whatever. I mean, like, you know, theoretically, I'm not going to do that. And still be talking to YouTube. I'm going to plug. Man, should I use my other social media accounts to plug this YouTube account? I really don't know. I could get like 100 viewers or whatever. Depends on how many other people share it. But I'm so fucking controversial that it's like, I don't really want to deal with that shit. I don't want to be like Nick Fuentes having people like show up at my door trying to confront me. You know, because I've plugged my YouTube stream. Or be like, who else is controversial? Joe Rogan is apparently controversial. Who fucking knew? Asmongold, you know. So they're so controversial. Oh my god, you know. But yeah, I don't really want that smoke. I don't want that attention. At least not right now. So I don't think I'm gonna plug it on my. Where'd the damn mosquito go? Come here, you piece of shit. I have rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle. They hate it. It kills them in like 2 shots. The first one will knock them down. And then the second one, once they're on the ground, the second one will kill them. All right. He's in hiding. But anyways, EverQuest 2, I missed the bind spots. I missed the hot bars. You know, in this game you have sort of a universal class, like your class. I mean, I don't know this game, so I shouldn't really comment, but you have like a universal class where it's like every class is kind of the same. Every class can kind of do ranged. Every class is kind of melee. Every class has like spell-like abilities, or like, you know, it's just, it may not be exactly like that. Like there's a class that puts out turrets, like gun turrets and stuff. They're like a tinkering machine class. And so they put out like gun turrets, and they put out like whatever they put out. There's like a ranger that I think charms animals. And so there's kind of those aspects where it's like, oh, they're kind of unique, but they're also like, every class can kind of solo in this game, it seems. And their solo ability is not too much different. So, you know, and EverQuest, the solo ability, you know, varies rather wildly, especially, you know, like a Project 1999 type thing. But even EverQuest 2, you know, the soloing ability varied quite a bit, you know. I don't know what the best soloers in EverQuest 2 would be, but, you know, Magician and Necro and Monk and Bruiser and maybe Warlock, you know, Defiler, Mystic, Inquisitor. These classes were okay. You know, SK was probably definitely up there. Oh, Beast Lord. Beast Lords are monsters in EverQuest 2. I'm like trying to think about like the character that I just created like a few months ago, but also like the game from like back in like 2008 or something, you know. But like Templars could kind of solo, but it was slow as hell because their DPS was low. Guardians could tank, you know, but they couldn't do much damage and they had no sustain. Enchanters, compared to EverQuest 1, were super nerfed. But like there was variance in solo ability and variance in like your abilities and your capabilities to solo and like how your methods that you would use, like bards would kite or charm kite. Enchanters would charm and solo. You know, necros would fear, snare and fear.
Come here.
Solo. So there was a huge variance. You know, shamans would slow. They'd slow the enemy. Like their attack speed. Rangers would kite. Druids would kite. You know, in this game, it's not really quite like there's a little bit of kiting, there's a little bit of this, there's a little bit of that, but it's the variance isn't quite there, which is fine, you know, in some regards, because you know, you hate to be the class that can't solo worth a damn. Like Everquest 1 Guardian, you know, they were terrible, especially pre-Kunark, but they were probably terrible all throughout the game. And you're stuck on that class, you know, you're stuck on that class, and you need, you know, at least like 4 people to form a real group to actually be a fighting unit. Whereas, you know, here in this game, it's whoops. Here in this game, it's like, you know, every class can solo to a significant extent. I'm sure there's a decent amount of variance, but it's not extreme. Like pre-Kunark Everquest or something like that. So, what else? You know, I miss free-to-play mounts from Everquest 2. I miss. I don't know how to say I miss, but this game I feel is missing, or things that I feel like Everquest 2 did better, you know. I should probably be running around I'm like walking around my room like an idiot. You're just looking at a fucking screen doing nothing. I'm sure there's stuff that Everquest 2 did better. Dungeons, you know, like Fallen Gate or Kazakh Dol. I mean, Kazakh Dol, the top side was, even the bottom side was just kind of meh. But I feel like this is kind of like a Skyrim dungeon where it's like fucking lame. Not as bad as Skyrim. The combat system here is way better. Skyrim is just a game with scenery. You know, you run around and look at the plants and stuff. You look at the scenery. I never understood Skyrim. I'm sure that there were mods that you could use to, you know, that Skyrim seemed like a game that people modded a lot to make it good, but like the base game was like, there was a little bit of a story and the scenery was pretty good, but the combat system was trash. You know, I really feel like if EverQuest 2 performed better, like if it looked like this, if it looked as good as this and performed better, and probably a decent amount of the performance here is from ambient occlusion, or at least in terms of the quality. And it's just like, in later expansions, EverQuest 2 started doing ambient occlusion, but it's like free. That's with it off. It's like free. You see how there's like no shadow? For people who don't know what ambient occlusion is. You see how there's like no shadow baked into this texture? It's just, it is what it is. It's lit, you know, over here it's shiny in the sun, which is cool. It's got bloom. This is probably bloom, yeah. EverQuest 2, the bloom is mostly if you're like looking at the sun. this is looking like trash if I'm looking at the sun, if I'm gonna be honest. What's funny is if I go in here underneath this window, it probably looks cool. It looks okay. So that's with bloom, that's without bloom. Bloom, no bloom. It'd be nice if I had a bloom slider in this game, because like some parts in this, I'm really getting kind of detailed here, but like some parts, it's like, sometimes this floor can get like too bright. And oh, there it is. I didn't have bloom on, that's why. I was like, that actually looks pretty reasonable. Yeah, let me turn on bloom. Right, and especially if you're doing like gamma increasing, because the game is maybe too dark otherwise. Like if you're doing like gamma increasing like to like 1.5, it's like, holy cow. Holy cow, it's like blown the F out right when you turn bloom on. Even when you turn it off, it's still blown the F out, right? And so, you know, the gamma, I keep it about 1.2 with bloom on. But, you know, it'd be nice if you had a bloom slider from like 0.25 to 1.5 or 1.25 or something, like, and what it is now would be like 1.0, so that you could turn it up or turn it down as you wanted to. I think right here is about the max you could possibly want. But it'd be nice to be able to cut it in half. Anyways, let me go up here. So like a lot of the graphics on this game, I don't want to say a lot, but like because there's other stuff that they're doing to make the game look good. Turn off bloom and ambient occlusion. Like all of a sudden the graphics are looking pretty mediocre. Like it looks all right, you know, it looks all right. But it's looking rather Everquest 2-ish, if I'm gonna be honest. I mean, like, this is a city that you could see in Everquest 2 and be like, oh, this is Everquest 2. And the shadows are pretty good. Everquest 2 does have shadows, but they're not typically this good. So if I turn the shadow quality down to like low or something, like, oh, that's bad. This would be like Everquest 2 shadows. And like, you'll notice, you can like notice how like crap the limitations, like, oh yuck, you know, it's not doing shadows that far away from my character, and as I walk forward the shadow like gets created. So, you know, medium here would be like Everquest 2 shadows, it seems like to me. Oh, I mean, goodness, look at that. It goes from like, the shadows shouldn't change as you run up to them. It's not a reflection where you're changing the angle. The sun is where the sun is, and the object is where the object is, and the shadow should be where the shadow is. But yeah, if I back up, or if I run this way, because backing up's slow as hell. If I run up on the shadow, it like changes. I guess it's becoming a lot more higher resolution. And it's actually like semi-ray tracing or demapping, because back here it's like demapping terrible. It's like, you know, the resolution on it is crap, and then as you run up on it, it uses a more higher resolution demap, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know, a detailed shadow, like there is no shadow from that guy, and then all of a sudden it magically appears. So that would be like Everquest 2 shadows. Maybe Everquest 2 might be like a high setting, but there's limitations. But when I put it on ultra, it's pretty good. When I put it on, like, look how crap that is. You know, there's no shadow, there's no shadow, there's no shadow. Oh, there's a shadow. So if you want good shadow performance here in this game, you gotta go to ultra. You know, at that point there's shadows like all the way at the end of this damn hallway. Good night. Do they have like They probably have like triple layer shadows. Okay, now there's a shadow. And like in terms of the detailed shadow, let me see if I can see that from back here. I wish those, those snowball guys are getting in the way now. I can't see what I'm looking at. But in terms of the detail of the shadow, it seems like it's doing good detail even back there. Like you see that glass, the glass dome. You see the transparent parts of it all the way from back here. So really impressive, you know, that you can see it on the wall. I don't know if this is going to be better, but you can see the transparent part. So now the shadow probably went away completely. But boom, you know, you see the transparent glass and like the metal arches or whatever they are, stone art or wood arches. Anyways, graphics much better in this game. I'm very long-winded apparently when I stream. Graphics much better in this game. I think that's a decent amount of that is coming from. Let me turn these graphics back up. From shadows, superior shadows, superior textures, probably superior anti-aliasing of those textures. Increased bloom, because right here, I mean, it's looking a little meh. And then you turn the bloom on, and it's all of a sudden, it's like, oh. You know, the edges seem a little softer now. You don't need to anti-alias them as much because you don't necessarily see like the jagged edge because it's bloomed out. It's fuzzed out, it's bloomed out. Ambient occlusion, right? So like, let's turn bloom off for a second. You don't really notice, but it's not very extreme in this game. They went pretty soft with ambient occlusion, but there's like shadows that are like baked into the texture now. That's bloom, ambient occlusion. You can't really, you can see something is changing, but you can't really specify what it is. Unless you know what ambient occlusion is. So I feel like they're getting a decent amount of their like graphical sexiness from, honestly, Bloom is doing a lot of it. Bloom is doing quite a lot of it. But ambient occlusion helps. The shadows help if you're capable of running it on ultra. The super sampling helps a lot. This is subsampling. And the characters with subsampling look like trash. I mean, they just look trash. Like, close up, I guess she looks alright. Yeah, you're not really, well, you know, you are seeing a difference. And like the, down here. Maybe you're not. Yeah, it's a little bit of a difference. If you're outside of the world, subsampling versus super sampling and native in this and the other. Super sampling does a lot more flora and makes the game look a lot better. But even here, subsampling, it's like the pixels are all muddy. Especially if you turn anti-aliasing off. I mean, like those edges are garbage. This is like. This right here is like Everquest 2 graphics. Bloom off. Ambient occlusion off. You know, if you turn the shadows down a little bit. Medium. Looking very EverQuest 2-ish here. Anyways, the shadows help. The anti-aliasing helps. The bloom helps. The ambient occlusion helps a little bit. It should help more than it does, but it still helps. You get a little shadow in between, like right there. That edge, that like nook. You know. Anyways, I'm very long-winded. But yeah, those are the differences between this game and EverQuest 2. Population, way higher here. Graphics, significantly better here. You can join multiple guilds. The quests are readily accessible. You just run up. Like 80% of the quests, 90% of the quests are, you just run to a new area and it's like, boom, you just automatically get new quests. Less hotbars, which is, I think, not as good, but whatever. But much higher population, better graphics, all that type of stuff. Anyways, it's all right. I can see it, you know, people thinking, oh, it's a good game, it's a cool game, and this, that, and the other. But I can also like see people getting sick of it after a while, because I feel like there's no epic weapon quest. There's a storyline quest, but there's no, you know, in EverQuest, there's like, oh, go do this quest, go do that quest, go to this quest, go to that quest. I mean, and they're long quests, and you get this item, you get that item, you get, you know, or you. Yeah, I'm sure this game has like rating and stuff like that, but EverQuest 2 is like, there's like epic weapons, epic 2.0s, and this and that, and who even knows? It's like, is Fishbone Earring a quest in EverQuest 2? As opposed to a drop, it's probably a quest. There's so many quests for so many different items in EverQuest 2. And I really kind of feel like this doesn't exactly have that. That's the impression that I get. So there are some things better about EverQuest 2 than here, but I think most people, if for no reason other than the game population, I mean, game population is such a big deal in an MMORPG. Any MMORPG where there's no people, that's bad. So that's bad. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants that. Etc., etc. Let me mute this. That's bad. Apparently it's pretty hard to get new viewers on YouTube. You know what's funny is I have 40 followers on Twitter. I have never posted to Twitter. How the fuck does that happen? You know? Like on some other social media things, I have like a few thousand followers. I've heard it's easier to get new viewers on Twitch. But yeah, on YouTube, the live streaming seems, I don't know if it's just this game. On EverQuest, I got like 25 viewers. You know, just doing dumb stuff. In some ways more exciting than what I'm doing here, but in some ways not, you know. More action-packed, but more repetitive. So, anyways, it is what it is. I'm going to talk about the third thing. I've been very long-winded. I'm going to talk about the third thing. Hopefully I can keep it brief. I probably can't because I'm an idiot. There's this channel, GamersNexus. Is it one word? Is it two? Who knows? And you know, people, they like worship this channel. It's got like a cult following, except it's not a cult. It's like also mainstream. And they just put out a hit piece on NZXT. And there's some aspect. I saw like Vex, the Vex Takes guy. I saw him react to this video. It's an hour long. I'm not going to react to this video. I don't have the viewership to even worry about that. Like I said, if I linked my other accounts, if I plugged this channel on my other accounts, that would change, but I'm not going to do that. So if someone watches this video, great. If they don't, that's also great. I'm not going to watch this whole thing and like comment throughout it, which is going to be like 2 or 3 hours. Like that's crazy. Some of the things in this video, in fact, this one I think is better than the, to some extent it's not a good video. And to some extent it is a good video because like, oh, NZXT is like taking advantage of people. I mean, but here's the thing, they tell you what it is. You know, like if you want to sign up for this, then you sign up for it. It's a service that they're not forcing you to buy it. They're not like, you got to buy this. No one's forcing you to buy this. Now, I will say this. You know, the GamersNexus made a point in this video at some point. I haven't watched the whole thing, to be honest with you. But he made a point in this video about, like, you know, we need to put our foot down because we don't want, you know, computer ownership moving in this direction. To where you're renting your computer, you know, like you rent your software. You rent Adobe Photoshop these days. You rent this, you rent that. You don't own stuff, you know. And in fact, I think that they even talked about, you know, you rent, you own nothing, and you know. What did they say? What did the what was that, Global Economic Forum or whatever they're called, World Economic Forum, WEF. Hans, you know, whatever the fuck that guy's name is, the German guy, and the whole bunch of other people, the 2%ers, that you know, fill the ranks of that. I'm sure that there are plenty of other types of people, but you know, they're like elitist scumbags who, like, you know, decide world policy. You know, they go to Davos or whatever the hell, and they decide world policy and how the world's going to be. And what they said at some point, like, you'll own nothing and be happy or something like that. There may have been more to that. I think they also said you're going to eat bugs. You know, so that doesn't sound great. I don't want to eat bugs. No, thank you. The food's bad enough as it is. The food is bad enough as it is. Is McDonald's serving you real beef? Who knows? It's probably like 25% heart and lung, you know? The chicken nuggets are probably like 30% skin. I remember I saw that, I don't know if I saw it on my phone or if I saw it on my computer. I got 2 different accounts. Okay, thanks. I don't know if I saw it on my, I've got 2 different accounts. I got an account on my phone. I've got an account on my computer, my new computer here, newish. That I built and then didn't use for a long time. I built a $1,700 computer and then didn't use it for a long time. No. Chicken nugget. Yeah, right here. Mise en place. Thanks for the ads. I love YouTube these days so much. Yeah, it's so great. Anyways, this guy, the owner, I think the owner of this is Thomas Keller. Who's Thomas Keller? Is that the French Laundry guy? Okay, not now. Thanks. Thomas Keller, thanks. No. He owns the French Laundry. So he's a California guy. And he owns the French Laundry, which is a famous, world famous restaurant, very famous. And he's owning this most popular fried chicken restaurant. You know, who knows how famous it is? I don't know. It seems like they just opened it. They had like a grand opening. So what is this most popular crap? Like they've been open for 10 years or something. Anyways, he's dropping in here. And he's talking about...
A little nervous. Are you ready?
So this is our chicken nugget that has been made with a lot of chicken breast, and we're gonna simply dry dredge it. These chicken nuggets are
Through 50%
for fried chicken.
fat than conventional flour.
To achieve the
Absorbs about 50% less fat, and
What
it's
are they doing,
using
like rice
different
flour?
type of flour, so it absorbs about 50% less
fried chicken. When we fry additional spices and
So
seasoning,
anyways,
we have. You want to share with Chef
funny
Keller?
that guy
I
was
don't
just
think we have to
talking
share
about
anything.
fat.
This is whole breast.
Start
So
from
like right here.
chicken nuggets original flavor first.
So here he talks about he's tasting it and he's like, we need to put more skin in the mix. And he's like, is it chicken breast? And he's like, oh, there's quite a bit. There's a thigh as well. The guy's like, oh, it's probably like 60% breast, 40% thigh, something like that. 60-40. And Thomas Keller says like, oh, we need to put more skin in there.
This is whole breast,
It's a
right?
mixture of breast and thigh.
Is there any other fat that you're putting in there?
Just this chicken skin.
All very good, right? One thing I would maybe recommend is getting some more fat in there.
Great.
So it gets a little creamier.
Yes, sir.
Right?
And then we're gonna give.
So are we doing anything to increase the amount of fat in there? Oh yeah, we're putting chicken skin because chicken skin is skin is like mostly fat. And so he's wanting to increase the amount of chicken skin in the nugget. Like when you eat McDonald's, like, is that chicken nugget like 50% skin? It might be. It might be. And then, you know, it might be like 40% skin, 20% binder, and then like 40% breast and thigh, you know, or whatever. Who knows what's in those things? So, you know, the food's bad enough. We don't need to stoop to bugs. We don't need to stoop to bugs. Anyways, that's the WEF people. Why am I talking about the WEF people? Oh, because he was talking about, you know, own nothing and be happy, which is the WEF quote from the German guy. I forget the guy's name. WEF, German guy. It'll know. Klaus Schwab. I don't know if any relation to Charles Schwab, but Klaus Schwab. He's not very well liked. Anyways, he said something about, you know, own nothing and be happy, and you're going to rent everything. And they moved to, you know, leasing your software, renting your software. And to some extent, GamersNexus like stood up or made that point. You know, we need to take a stand and not have computer ownership go away, and to where everyone's like leasing their computer. And, you know, as long as that's the cheaper methodology of using a computer, which it currently is apparently, as long as ownership is the cheaper method, then great. Own, like, use your, you know, buy a computer, build it, or buy a pre-built, own it, you know, and then store it in the garage forever, you know. No, I mean, like, hopefully you can format and sell it, or something, get some value out of it. But, you know, we don't need to move to this leasing model, which, especially if it's going to cost that much. So that I agree with. Let me mute this. Guild Wars. Or at least, Yeah, I'm gonna mute it. No, I'm not gonna mute it. I'm just gonna run away from these people a little bit. Hopefully their noises don't go crazy. Wrong. There. So I agree with that part. I think that it's understandable somewhat that the parts change from day to day. Not from day to day. You hope that wouldn't be the case. But you know, they got to change at some point, right? What? They got to change at some point, right? So, you know, you can't be selling in 5 years, you know, computers that have parts from 2023 and 2022 in them. The parts got to change sometime. So, you know, but how much do they change? They shouldn't be changing like every week, unlike every system, or even like half the systems. You know, there's only like 3 systems or 6 systems, depending on how you look at it. So, at least that's what I got from it, from this video. Because they have like a player 1 and a player 2 and a player 3 model. So like here's the player 2. So player 1, player 2, player 3, and then within each quality upgrade and within each tier of computer, you have like a buy and then like a lease. And the lease computers are apparently not as good as the buy computers, even though they kind of make that clear in terms of they list the specs, but it's the same name. You know, the subscription, the leased computer will be like player 2 flex. You know, in NZXT's defense, they do list the specs, and the name does change a little bit. But the price of the computer is bad. It's very high. In their defense, I'm sure a lot of scumbags and children, you know, sign up for these to get these computers. They get the computers that in their place, you know, so they're not buying it. They're leasing it. Give me the computer now and I promise I'll give you some money. And I'm sure that they don't actually pay, or they pay for like 3 months or 6 months and then they quit paying. So like in terms of like NZXT, like being a scumbag company that's like, oh, they're charging, you know, if you own the computer for 5 years, which is not really the business model, because the business model is kind of like you after like 2 or 3 years, after 2 years you're eligible for a replacement. So like, you know, what they're going to tell you is basically after 2 or 3 years, turn it in and get an upgrade. And that's kind of like how you should use this service. But like, are quite a few people gonna like get a computer and be like, oh, I don't want to upgrade, that's a hassle. And they're gonna keep a computer for like 5 years until it's like, you know, got like 10 different viruses from downloading, you know, Skyrim expansion packs or whatever, mod packs, and Minecraft mod packs, and, you know, PoE, talent point, tree assigners, or whatever. The loot filters, I don't know what these games are doing these days. That should be all done, like, well, at least the PoE stuff, that should be all done with CSV, comma separated values. Just a text file, basically. That should not be an executable. You know, download this executable and plan out your talents and it'll fill the talents out for you. No thanks. No thanks. I want either a CSV or an RSS thing. Is it RSS? I forget what it's called. I've been out of computers for a long time, so my memory's rusty. You know, import the CSV or whatever that file that I'm trying to think of is, where it's like a plain text like database file, like where you open and close tags, like almost like HTML tags. I bet if I Google it, I can figure out what I'm talking about. Plain text database file type tags XML. Is that what I'm talking? XML example. All right. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. If it's not CSV or XML, I don't want to fucking download it. You know, they need to have stuff like in PoE where you just paste in a CSV, paste in XML, or put it in the same directory, and then it reads that XML, it reads that CSV, and then it goes from there. Where you're just downloading a text file, you're not downloading an executable. So, and you can read that text file. You know, you can't read the code of an executable. You can read the code, and invariably, right, the fucking executables, they ask for like all sorts of computer access. They want the ability to read and write from the hard drive. They want, you know, some DLL hook crap. You know, like Riva Tuner here, which is putting the FPS up on the screen, right? It wants a DLL hook. I don't know who makes Riva Tuner. It's probably like some guy in fucking Colombia or Switzerland or something. Like, do I trust this guy? I don't know that I do. So, you know, I hate DLL hooks, perhaps above all. You know, or downloading an executable. These are things that disgust me. Like, you know, you have to, in order to play the game, you have to download like 5 different executables, or like parsers. I remember in Everquest 2, I was given access, you might say, accidentally given access to some stuff. And I found out that the person who was writing, that they were like spying on their users. They wrote a DPS parser, and it was basically like a backdoor to their computer. And of course it has the ability to read the log files, so it has access to the hard drive. At least reading, if not writing. And so it could like read your hard drive and do this and do that. And they would like track their users. Like that. They were running a forum, and they would like track the IP addresses. So they would know like where people lived, and they would know like, oh, this person and that person are now like boyfriend and girlfriend, or this person and that person are like married. They're playing from the same IP address. It's either a sock puppet account or they're like in a relationship now. And so they would find like if people hooked up, like they met online and they started dating and stuff, they would figure all that out, which I felt was shady. And then, do you really trust the people who are writing the DPS parsing software, those executables, the executables that are going to like manage your Path of Exile player? I hate all that crap. You know, if there's going to be external stuff, it needs to be some sort of web page, and it's just a standalone web page, or it needs to be CSVs or XML files that are like put in the deck directory or pasted into the game, and then that's it. And that's you know, just how it has to be in order for it to be safe. So anything beyond that is terrible, you know. So that's kind of how I feel about that. About these video games and all their download executable stuff. Anyways, if you get viruses on this computer, or if like components like start like degrading and starts performing not as good, at the end of like, let's say 5 years, you're going to turn it in and you're going to get a new one. And then, you know, but you should have upgraded earlier because you've had a substandard computer for 3 years, 2 or 3 years longer than you should have had it. And so at the end of 5 years, you've paid like $15,000 for like, let's say a 3,000, like the top of the line. I don't know how much. I think the top of the line computer was $250 a month. I think the top of the line computer is $250 a month. So at 5 years, that'd be $15,000. So that sounds about right. It might have even been a little bit more. But you know, you could buy it for like $3,000, or you could spend $15,000 over the course of 5 years. But in terms of like from NZXT's position, so many people are going to be stealing these computers. They're going to sign up and they're going to pay for like 3 months or whatever. And then they're going to quit responding to texts and emails. They're going to change their telephone number. They're going to block whatever number, you know, and then they're going to get sent to collections, but they don't care. You know, they might even, who knows? Who knows how this works? But I bet in terms of like what NZXT is owed, they only get paid probably like 60% of the time. And a lot of the money that, you know, oh, they're making so much money. They're here to entrap you. They're here to do this. They're here to rob you and this and that. Yeah, to the people who pay, sign up for this and then like don't upgrade. But, you know, if you do upgrade, then you're not getting the worst deal on the planet. But like from NZXT's position, so many people are going to be stealing these computers and not paying crap. You know, they're going to pay nothing. They're going to pay 3 months. They're going to pay 6 months. They're going to shut off their phone. They're going to block the number. They're going to do you know, they're going to change their phone number. They're going to, you know, they used a trash dummy email address anyways. You know, they don't care. So I think that this video here is like, you know, they do list the specs. They tell you what you're going to get. You know, you can figure out whether it's worth it or not. So I think that this video is like 75% legitimate, but I think it's also maybe like 25% like not legitimate. So that's that one. But in regards to GamersNexus's credibility, I'm going to be making a video where it's in regards to, well, some of their computer case reviews, but most importantly, their attacks against ASUS. I'm not saying ASUS is a company that every single one of their products is amazing. The ROG Ally did have an SSD or a SD card problem. In regard to the SD card reader would get fried. It had an easy workaround, but it did cost money. So, you know, there's that. Although it didn't really cost much more than an SD card by itself. So, and as you got higher in capacity, as you wanted higher and higher capacity, so ROG Ally SD card reader, you know, you see some will ever be fully fixed. And this is from 2024, May 1st. So, you know, there's videos about it. There's a problem. with the SD card reader. And, you know, if you really want to see where it is, you know, so on the panel, or on the PCB, what is this? Is that a link to a, what, open image in new tab? I don't know what they're gonna feed us. I don't own a ROG Ally, so I'm not really too familiar with, you know, this and that. To my knowledge, the SD card reader is actually like right here, but it might be on like the back side. I'm a little confused. I don't know exactly what we're looking at here. It's been months since I looked at it, and I don't own one.
Act with wisdom.
So this is... Ugh. This is the battery cable. This is the battery down here. And that's where the battery feeds into it. And then like right here, this is like a an SSD. And then this, I guess, is the opposite side of this PCB. So it's on the right here, but in reality, it's actually over here on the left. I'm pretty sure.
All things have a right.
Open image in new tab. All right, so yeah, this is the back, and then this is the front, where the up on top is where the front is. So you'd be up here looking at the side that you can't see, and these are like the buttons on the top that you use like your index finger for.
Seize the moment.
And then your fingers wrap around. And then there's the joystick, if you can see it. The joystick is right there. And so this is the left side. As I said, my memory was correct. Here's the power button. I'm assuming this is volume. I don't know what that is. This is maybe headphone jack. And then SD card readers there. Micro SD, I guess. I don't know. Whatever it is. But the way you... In fact, one of these photos will be useful for this. The way you get around this SD card reader problem is that you actually upgrade this SSD. And normally an SSD, let's do ROG Ally SSD size. Normally SSD 2280. Most SSDs these days, back in the day, there used to be like SATA, whatever the fuck. Again, I've been out of computers for like 15 years now. But this right here is like your normal SSD. I'm gonna just open this up. What am I under? This is so weird. I can't control click. All right. Anyways, your normal SSD, that something is very strange. Google, you know, Google being Google, they're doing something weird. I can't control click. It does nothing. There's no readout at the bottom in the status bar about like where the link goes. You see here, if I mouse over that, it tells me, oh, it's Amazon.com, etc., etc. This one tells me nothing. What do I do? I guess I can mouse over down there. But anyways, if I click here, it still does nothing. It brings up this panel, I guess. I guess that's what it brings up. And then I can like look over. Okay. Anyways, Google. Thanks, Google. So like these are, where does it say? You know, form factor, M.2 2280, 2242. So this is the 22 dimension. This is the 22 millimeters. Like, is that millimeters? It seems like it's millimeters, right? Because that would be just under an inch. It's under an inch, right? Because a millimeter is 1/10 of a centimeter. What are we doing? Hello? Thank you. Yeah, so, whatever that is, you know, 7/8 of an inch. So, that seems a little wide, but whatever. I guess it's about, in my mind, it seems like 3/4 of an inch, but you know, hey, what's not even 3/4, it seems like 5/8 of an inch, but whatever. But it's 22 millimeters in this direction.
Act with wisdom.
So you'll see here form factor, or at least on the new egg, right? Form factor 2288. 22 is in this direction, 80 in this direction. So 80 millimeters, which is 8 centimeters, which is like 3 1/4 inches or something like that. So that's what 2280 means, right? So if you go over here and you see this raw galette, this is an SSD. What form factor that is, it's, you know, apply. So you see this one's still longer than it is wide, which is not super what we're looking at here. This is like a square. In fact, I bet you, raw, like I said, ROG Ally SSD size. $2230? $2230? Okay, so you go here and you'd select 2230, and you'd look at those. So these will go in your ROG Ally. So like in terms of like, oh, the SSD card reader doesn't work, right? Oh, my SSD card reader doesn't work. You know, how do I pick, you know, like, oh, what a piece of junk this thing is. What you actually do is you go over here and you buy, instead of using the SD card, you use the SSD, the solid state drive, and you just open it up and you change out that one. They ship it with 512 gigabytes. So you just go over here. It's not really worth it to buy like a 1 terabyte one. Like, spend the money and get a 2 or a 4 terabyte. You can even get 8 these days. I mean, I don't know what the capacity of the ROG Ally, what it'll do, but I know it'll do 2 terabyte and 4 terabyte. I don't own one, but I've seen people talk about, oh, I upgraded to 2 terabyte, I upgraded to 4 terabyte. It's not worth it to spend like, you know, $80 or whatever to get only 1 terabyte. So, you know, spend the money to get the 2 terabyte, you know, spend the $120 or whatever it's going to be, and get the 2 terabyte, or spend, you know, even more than that, and get the 4 terabyte, which is, I'm sure you can get them. SSD 2230, 4 terabyte. So you can get them. I mean, there you go. Boom, 240. But in terms of like, oh, but I don't, you know, why would I do that when I can get the micro SD card reader should work? Well, here's your, this is 1.5. Here's 2 terabytes. That's fun. You're not getting it for $9, I can tell you that. Here's your 2 terabyte SD card. You know, I want the SD card. I want the SD card. It's 180 bucks. You know, here's 180, here's 170. You're actually, say this is 1.2, 1.5, which is, that's a good price, but that's a Cyber Monday deal, so that's probably a good price. What the fuck is that? 2 terabyte? Sponsored? That's straight from China. I don't know what the hell that is. These are 2 gigabyte, not 2 terabyte. I don't know why it's recommending those. But here's a 1 terabyte for 80 bucks. 1 terabyte, 90 bucks. Don't get the 1 terabyte size. You would go for the 2 terabyte size, which apparently, but you'll see it's like, oh, it's 180, right? And then if you go up to 4 terabyte, I don't even know if SD card readers, micro SD goes up to 4 terabyte yet. I think that they have some like coming out or whatever, but I don't know if they're actually on the market right now. 4 terabyte micro. I know they have them, but I just don't know if they're on the market yet. So 4 terabyte and 8 terabyte. But these things are going to cost like an enormous amount of money. Whereas you see over here, wherever it went, you can get 2230. I'm gonna erase that. 2230 SSD. You can get 4 terabyte right now for 200. In fact, like, you know, the 2 terabyte was 180. You can get that right now for 155. You can get it here for, this is 2030. You know, you can get it for 125, 135. So you can get it for like $50 cheaper, right? Same size, $50 cheaper. And you know, in terms of capacity, you can go up to 4 terabyte. You don't need to be 4.01 terabyte. Bastards, being sneaky. Here's Acer Predator. You know, that's an Acer thing. That's 2280. Why am I looking at that? Why? Thanks, Amazon. Bastards. I did put in 2230 for a reason. They're not going to show me any. I'm pretty sure they exist. 2230. 4 terabyte. SSD. That's 2280. I thought they had 2230s, 4 terabyte. Maybe Newegg's has something. None exist. Wow. Okay, so micro SD or SSD, none exist. I'm sure they're going to come out. But for right now, they allegedly don't exist. I'm not going to search for that. Double-sided might be a possibility. We've only tested double-sided configurations for prototyping, and it would not fit well into the deck. So it would not fit well into that. Will it fit well into the ROG Ally? I don't know. I don't know. So, but you can get, nonetheless, right? Upgrade to 2 terabyte, right? Which is readily available, right? Upgrade that guy to 2, and as opposed to using a 2 terabyte micro SD, just upgrade this guy and you can save 50 bucks. Now there's a little bit of work involved and it's kind of annoying, but it can be done. But anyways, that was a legitimate problem with the ROG Ally. I don't know why. See, I'm very long-winded. This is like my first time streaming. But there were some problems with some Asus products. This is one with the ROG Ally. The micro SD card reader would go bad. GamersNexus got that right. You know, it's a problem. It has a workaround. You open it up and you replace this guy, the 2230 SSD. It has a workaround. Does it require more than just a screwdriver and like 5 minutes worth of your time? Yeah, there was some software stuff that you had to do. You had to like, you know, like upload your files to the internet and then download them again, you know. You had to like sync it up and where it re-download your operating system type of thing. Something like that, I don't know. But it was weird. So they got that right. And in terms of Asus products that are crap, this entire motherboard line, I don't know about the Intel versions, but let's just go with the B650. This entire motherboard line, Asus Prime, they're crap. They're showing, there's a slightly different one. The Asus Prime. What's funny is B650. What is it? MH. DV. I don't remember what this is. M/H.
With wisdom.
Right here. So if you erase the DV, I don't know what the DV is.
Our
I think
deeds are reflected in the dream.
this one. So as opposed to the HDV, the regular just H. So you see this one says just the H. This one says HDV. The HDV, you see the thermal, the heat sink for the VRM. And you also see a lot more capacitors here. But Asus. It's not Asus, it's ASRock. Anyways. You see that this is a significantly, I don't know how I went from Asus to ASRock, but anyways, this is a significantly larger VRM heatsink, and you got something up here too, it seems like, but you got a lot of capacitors here. That's the HDV. You go to the regular H, much smaller heatsink, less capacitors, less MOSFETs and power phases and all that type of stuff. It's a much lesser VRM. Linus Tech Tips recommended this just like 5 days ago for Black Friday for a $1,000 computer build. I understand like $1,000 isn't the biggest budget in the world, but this is a stinker board in my opinion. Spend 40 extra bucks, get something halfway decent. You know, spend 80 extra bucks and get something that's actually pretty good. This is crap. I would only pair this with like a 7600 non-X or a 9700X, like the ones that are so 7600X. Sorry, non-X Ryzen. This is a TDP. This is a 65 watt chip. If you go to the 9700X, this is also 65 watts. And maybe like the 7600X 3D. Another good example, 65 watts, and it's got the X3D 3D cache. It's going to use the ridiculously low power. I might feel comfortable pairing that up with this, a 7600 on this board. I mean, like, it's still a piece of shit board, but the 7600 X3D is such a low powered chip that it's probably not a problem. It's probably gonna be okay. It'd be good if you got something better, but what the hell is going on in this game? You guys are crazy. But yeah, in terms of population, you see, look at all these people. There's like 60 people just right here. Pretty cool. You won't see this in Everquest 2. You might find this in POK and EverQuest 1, but not in EverQuest 2. And there's like 20 different servers here. Everquest 2 needs a POK. People are like, oh yeah, do the guild halls. The guild halls are cool. Nope. The guild halls are not cool. They make the game seem lonely, and that's not why you play an MMO, to feel lonely. You play an MMO for like to see other people running around and to talk to them and this and the other. Anyways, I might put a 7600 X3D on this, but because it's such a low power chip, or a 7600 non-X or a 9700X, I probably wouldn't put a 9700X because this is like a board from like 2 years ago. And then you're gonna put it with a 9000 series chip. I mean, that might be a recipe for trouble. But 7600 non-X, 7600 X3, actually X3D, that might be trouble again, because it's X3D. So it's just a stinker board. It's just a piece of shit. And Linus Tech Tips recommended it like a week ago in their Black Friday, like, oh, build these computers. Here's your, for a $500 budget. Here's one for a $1,000 budget. Here's one for a $2,000, whatever their budget levels were. And this was for the $1,000 level. And I think this is a stinker board. But it's ASRock. I thought it was Asus for some reason. I was getting my boards mixed up. Asus Prime B650. They do make B650Ms. I mean, these are just crap. These are crap. Look at that. I mean, it's better than that other piece of shit. You know, and there's some more capacitors, but it's still a crap board. I don't know what B660 is. This is Intel. God, that's terrible for Intel. For Intel, that's shit. And that was for what? 12th and 13th gen? What a crap board. Why do I Google B650M and it gives me 660? Google, you're turning into shit. But like, these boards are kind of crap. I mean, these are like the better versions that they've put out in like recent months, because they've realized that the first versions that they put out were so shit that like they were terrible. Like Hardware Unboxed. B650 motherboard roundup. They did a roundup. And, you know, I don't know if these Asus boards are going to be in here. They probably will be to some extent. Top 5 best. That's not the one I'm looking for. 35 motherboards. Where's this one?
Pathetically,
I want the big long
PCB.
list.
The VRM is still very powerful. The Gigabyte
Okay, here's you see the VRMs. That's not the huge list though. Here's the huge list.
The AM5 processor.
And you know, these are all good.
Now, please note, you don't need to buy a
Asus
motherboard
tough,
with
good.
the lowest
Gigabyte
VRM
gaming,
thermals.
XAX,
As long
whatever,
as the
it's
bar
pretty-
graph is
pretty good.
colored blue, it's a pass. It doesn't
All
matter if
these
the
are pretty
VRM
good.
ran at 50
These
or
are
80
meh.
degrees. The end result for you is going to be the same. So
Eagle
beyond a pass,
AX,
it comes
should you get
down
it, should
to
you
the
not get it? I don't
features
know.
and price.
Here's ASRock B650M HDV. The H is worse. I don't know.
So
if
in a
he's got it
sense,
on
we're
his
just
list.
validating these boards with a pass or a fail, and not ranking them
Here it
in
is,
some kind
on
of
his
order.
list. Right there, B650M.H, whatever /M2 plus. You see how much of a
It's really not until we get
This is the board that Linus Tech Tips was recommending to its viewers. Just like
right down
a
to the
week
bottom
ago.
of our graph that we find the bad boards.
It's an
the
absolute
boards
piece
that
of
you
shit.
should
But
avoid.
yeah, if you're gonna hate on Asus, right? Here's some things to hate on right there. They're putting it with a 7950X, which is a 165 TDP, 170 TDP. So it's a high wattage CPU, and they're putting it on these crappy boards. But someone might feasibly do that. So they need to know that these are pieces of shit. But it'd be nice to see this like rerun, some of these problem boards rerun with like a 7600X or 7600 non-X or whatever, to see if they're feasible in that range. But as the temperature goes up, the life of the product is going to go down. So for every 10 to 20 degrees C, depending on what type of component you're talking about, the lifespan gets like cut in half, I think. I think it's a multiplication factor. And I think it's like in half. So like the ones that are here at like 60C compared to the ones that are at like 100C, there's not really 100C. It goes from like 95 to 106. But if it was a 40 degree Celsius difference, that's like 2 to the power of 2, which is 4, or even, and depending on some components, it's their life gets halved for every 10 degrees Celsius. So not 20, but 10 degrees Celsius. So at that point, you'd be talking about 2 to the power of 4, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So some of these components on the boards that, assuming that all the components, and this is, by the way, a good reason to worry about what case you get in terms of your case airflow, because it'll keep everything in your computer cold, or do a decent job of it, because of the amount of airflow and this, that, and the other. And for the components that are, their life is doubled for every 10 degrees Celsius that they're reduced, you're talking about these boards that are at 60 degrees C will last 16 times. Let me go forward. Right, 16 times as long as the ones that are at 100 C. Now, you know, sometimes you get a stinker from the factory. It doesn't matter. You know, it's like, it's going to break almost no matter what. But it's not like these will last like 200 years. And this will last like the ones down here. Sorry, like these ones will last like 200 years. And these will last like 3 months or something. It's probably more like, you know, 15 years versus 3 years, something like that. You know, just because there's some other factors built in. But the difference in life expectancy of the computer is going to be significantly different, right? And so you can see it down here, Asus Prime, B650M. The M, by the way, is a pretty good indicator that you should stay away from it. Those are for micro ATX. B650, you see like near the top of the list, right? B650 and B650E, B650. What's funny is Gigabyte, they don't even care. They're like, oh, micro ATX, we're still going to knock it out of the park, with at least with those two models. B650, here's some M's. Those are way, these are outliers. These are not typical. B650, B650E. This is an upgrade to the B650, so don't. That's an upgrade. When you see that, it's better than normal B650. Doesn't necessarily mean the VRM is going to outperform and going to be better, but the motherboard, as in terms of its feature set, is going to be better. So this is basically an upgraded version of B650, 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 B650E, EF, E, normal, B650A. I don't know what the A is, to be honest with you.
Now, please note,
and then we get another M, right? And then we get an E, and then another M, and then a B650, B650, B650E, B650, B650. And then, you know, as you go down the list, you get into the B650Ms. You know, M, normal, M, M. These are the micro ATX boards. They're for smaller cases. You know, sometimes it's not a price issue, it's a size issue. You want the computer to be small. But a lot of the people who are buying the smaller cases are buying the smaller cases because they want it to be cheaper. They want to save, you know, $30 on the case. And, you know, so they're buying a cheaper case and they want a cheaper motherboard, typically. So the B650M motherboards are going to tend to be cheaper, which means they're going to tend to be not exceptionally performant. Their components are also closer together. You know, the heatsink from the CPU and the graphics slot and the RAM's going to be right there, and this, you know, it's all crammed in smaller. So there's typically less airflow. The airflow is not as good, but usually it's just a issue with the VRM quality, you know, in terms of they're trying to put a certain amount of wattage through lesser VRMs, less power stages. The power stages themselves are rated for less amperage, so the load isn't shared across, you know, a higher number of power stages, and the power stages individually are crappier and crappier. They're rated for 50 amps or, I don't know, maybe even less, as opposed to 60 and 70 and 80. Some of the super high-end boards have like 100 amp power stages. But yeah, these boards won't last. These boards, if you pair them with, God forbid, a 7950X, they're not going to last. And like I said right here, Linus Tech Tips recommended that one in a recent video, like a week ago. Not a good thing to get. You might be able to pair it with the 7600 Non-X. I wouldn't even pair it with the X3D because who knows, the BIOS might need flashing. I wouldn't even pair it with the 9700X, even though it's 65 watts on the 9700X, because it might need like a BIOS update again, because that's a 9000 series chip CPU, and this was put out like probably 2 years ago. Who knows? And it's just such a low end product that it's like they don't even care about it. It's like, you know, you don't buy this and put in 7950X on it. You don't buy this and put a 9950 X3D on it, unless you're an idiot. But Linus Tech Tips recommended that. But in terms of hating on Asus, right? I'm so fucking long-winded here. Damn. In terms of Asus, if you're gonna hate on Asus, there's 2 products right there. 1, 2, 3. I mean, these are shit boards. These are shit boards. 5650. Asus Prime B560M. I mean, they're saying this is a stinker. Like an absolute piece of garbo. I wonder if this is the board. Sometimes they ninja upgrade the models. B650A MA. I don't know. Sometimes they ninja upgrade. But yeah, apparently this is a crap board. So yeah, if you wanted to hate on Asus, there's something to hate on, right? But instead they went after their whole ROG Ally scam. Asus ROG Ally scam, GamersNexus. Asus scammed us, you know.
Coming at you fast.
And is the thumbnail going to appear? Probably not. And I'm going to tell you, view your channel history. Right, so this one right here. Can I get a photo of the thumbnail? Nope, of course not. I'm getting an animated GIF. All right, so probably the way to do this is actually to go here. Thanks, Google. Anyways, they were like, oh, Asus scammed us with this raw galley thing. They lied so much in that video. Like, I'm gonna make a video and make sure that it gets some views. And probably no one's gonna watch this fucking video. I haven't checked the stream. Maybe maybe there's a viewer or two. But they lied so much in this video that it's absurd. I'm gonna make a video about in response to this one, and I'm gonna make sure that it gets views, and it's probably gonna not earn me any enormous amount of subscribers, but you know, it's probably gonna make me some enemies, so to speak, and get me like ridiculed. Like, oh, look at this idiot who called GamersNexus lawyers. I can tell you right now, this video is so deceptive that it's surprising. It's surprising. I'm over here fucking up my lavalier wire. So this is full of lies. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, it is full of lies. This video. I'm not going to go through it right now. Because it probably needs like preparation. It probably needs like preparation. Like, this is a lie. That there, dirty. What a dirty lie. They're such liars. Oh my god. Manifest. That's another lie. It's so bad. Like, when I make this video, and if it's like remotely well done, and the more eyeballs that see it, like, it's gonna be a problem. If it gets like tens of thousands of views, it's gonna be a problem. But I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna, you know, I can't really link my other social media accounts to this one. So I don't know how many viewers I can get for the video that I'm gonna make. I'm sure, unless I get like banned from Reddit or something, I'm sure that I can get some viewers. But how many viewers can I really get? I don't know. I wish I could link my other social media accounts and get like some of my quote-unquote friends to plug it. But this video right here is just an absolute lie. What a dirty lie. This is a lie. A filthy, what a filthy lie. And they're like, for real? No, seriously, we're not joking. What a filthy lie. Okay, you know, oh wow, there's people on the internet who complained about something and said Asus was a bad company. You know, what a filthy lie. I'll just point it out. I'll point out one of the lies. Because if someone watches this video and they're like, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? You're full of it. What are you talking about? You're full of it, dude. Let me try to find where it is. Okay, you get the response from Asus, and they say repair, signs of damage. Okay, all right. Show the photo. Show the photo. Show the photo. Show the photo. Oh, bastards! I should probably be scrubbing the timeline as opposed to doing what I'm doing right now. Okay, so they're talking about like what were they showing? Okay, this is at 11:30. This is what they were showing you. Here's the damage. The battery charging and whatever this is, right? That little thing right there, that little thing or whatever. Who even knows what? Contrast that with this photo that Asus sent. The case is fucking cracked open. The case is fucking cracked open. It's not shut. So like, unless the Asus repair guy cracked it open and was like, oh, look at your case, it's all screwed up. It's cracked open, right? Which I don't think that they would do. I don't think they would crack it open and then be like, oh, look, your case is cracked open, warranty denied, right? The case is fucking cracked open. And GamersNexus doesn't draw your attention to that, do they? That's only one lie. That's only one lie. This is one out of several lies that they told in this video. They sent this thing in with a case that was cracked open. Okay, they also sent it in and it didn't work. The repair guy had to fix it. Like they portrayed it as the joystick is constantly scrolling to the right or whatever, number one, and number two, the SD card reader is malfunctioning, but they didn't tell Asus about that. They didn't tell Asus about that. They didn't like write it in their, warranty claim. They only talked about the joystick, and then Asus had to find the micro SD card reader problem by themselves, which by the way they did, and they fixed it at no small cost to Asus. But they pretended as though that was basically the only thing wrong with it was the joystick. The case was cracked open, as you see here, and it didn't work. The unit didn't work. The Asus repair tech had to repair some things and plug some things in and do this and do that. They had to go in there and fiddle around in order to get the thing to work. But when they received it, the case was cracked open and it didn't work. Like they pressed the power button and it some things came on and some things didn't. Okay? But GamersNexus never draws your attention to how this case is cracked open. And they don't draw your attention to that for a reason, right? Because that looks like, oh yeah, that does look a little damaged, right? They're over here doing this. They wanted to charge us $200 for that.
You need to tell. You know what? Let's bring this down to the microscope.
Go to the
I'll
microscope. Go to the microscope, you piece of shit. What a fucking dirtbag.
We're gonna find the damage. I've got the ally here.
Oh yeah, put it under the microscope, you fucking dirtbag.
So where is the damage?
Yeah, where's the damage? Where's the damage? Right there.
Oh.
We found it.
Oh, there it is.
They wanted $200 for that.
That's
the damage.
$200. And we're not alone in this, and we have evidence, as always.
Over here.
Pieces. And we wondered what the damage could be.
We wondered what the damage could be. I don't know, maybe the fact that the case is cracked open. Maybe the fact that when you push the power button, it didn't come on. Maybe that's what they were referring to. And by the way, GamersNexus knows all of this. They knew all of this. This thing in the first part of the video, where they're like going through this repair manifest, and like, what's that? What's that? What are they talking about? Gap abnormal. Damn, I'm like doing the video on the fly here at this point. Gap abnormal. Do you think gap abnormal might refer to this gap right here being abnormal? Yeah, maybe that's what it refers to. You piece of shit. System noise. Connector broken. Connector was disconnected. Mechanical assembly problem. I think this was the Mylar. The system noise was probably the Mylar caught in the fan or some shit like that. Whatever this is, detect memory card, can't detect memory card. That's the SD card reader that they properly diagnosed. Connector broken. That means they went in there and they replugged in a connection that was disconnected. So GamersNexus opened the thing up. They unplugged stuff in there. Okay, they unplugged stuff in there, and then they sent it in. Gap abnormal.
Pieces. And we wondered what the
is right here. You know, and GamersNexus acts like, oh, we have no idea what they're even talking about. You know exactly what they're talking about. GamersNexus sent this in, cracked open like this. And when you press the power button, because connectors were disconnected on the inside, which they did, they sabotaged the unit, the screen didn't come on. So the repair techs press the power button. They see, first of all, they see the damage. Number two, they press the power button, and the screen doesn't come on. So what do? They respond with an email, customer-induced damage. You know, we're not going to repair it. That's not unreasonable. But by the way, in the end, they did repair it. They fixed it for free. GamersNexus rejected the screen replacement, which they shouldn't have offered, probably. Almost assuredly they shouldn't have even offered it, but they did. You know, at cost, not for free. But they rejected that warranty. They rejected that repair. GamersNexus rejected that repair that was going to cost them money, and they said just do the warranty repairs, the joystick, and whatever else you can find, which was the micro SD card. So they got it back, they got it repaired, and they got it repaired for free. No shipping and handling paid, no fee paid, no parts paid, no labor paid. This, that, and the other. They got the joystick fixed. They got their case closed back up. They got their connectors replugged back in. And they got a new main board, because in order to fix this micro SD card reader, micro SD card PCB. How about that? In order to fix this micro SD card reader, they have to replace the entire PCB. Like, this is not, for some reason they designed it to where it's not like a piece that's soldered on and soldered off. You know, I don't really know enough about these things to know if there's like a solder-based solution where you can just solder it on. But for some reason they didn't do that. Okay, for some reason they didn't do that. And so they have to replace this entire main board. I don't know if this chip is drop-in or if it's soldered on, or I don't know how that works. But they have to replace the entire main board, which, by the way, will go over here. See, I'm almost doing the whole video at this point. You know, the repair manifest, when they break out this repair manifest, and like, what's this? Stupid. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube.
We had, I don't think we ever told them about that.
We did not tell them about the SD card.
Yeah. Connector broken, also don't know what that's referring to.
No idea
You don't know what that's about.
Everything, there were no broken connectors when we sent it in.
No broken.
Mechanical assembly problem.
Maybe the thumbstick.
System noise.
Okay, don't know what that means.
Yeah, gap abnormal.
What's gap abnormal?
We had taken it apart before, so.
Yeah, but that was, I don't think I've like ever been more careful with
you haven't been more careful.
a disassembly. And that tape.
So this can't detect memory card. Exchange parts. I don't know what that says. Replacement parts. Replace parts. Main board. They replaced the whole main board to fix the memory card. And I think GamersNexus responded to that like, what's that about? Mylar is tape. It's like a metallic tape. I don't know how to describe it. For that matter, I don't know exactly what the deal is. But yeah, they know exactly what this manifest is, this repair manifest, but they're acting like it's insane. That's another lie. There's so many lies in this fucking video that it's outrageous. I'm gonna be making a video about it. Because people trust GamersNexus to like do the right thing and tell them the truth and this, that, and the other. And I've uncovered lies that I think are very problematic and really kind of undermine the idea that this is a credible guy. I think it heavily undermines the idea that this is a credible individual. So, yeah, I mean, they act like they don't know what ASUS is talking about. Gap abnormal, what's that about? And the guy even kind of hints to it. He kind of hints to it, which is kind of a CYA, cover your ass move. He kind of hints at it. We did take it apart. Yeah, maybe the gap abnormal has something to do with how you took it apart. Yeah, how you took it apart and didn't put it back together, as evidenced by this gap, which is what they're referring to in their repair manifest. But yeah, the guy hints at it, you know, and then the Steve Burt guy, allegedly that's his name. Who knows what his real name is? But he's like, oh, I've never done a more careful job of disassembly in my entire life. Well, it's not really about the disassembly, is it? It's about the reassembly. You didn't reassemble it completely, did you? Right? So many lies in this video. Filthy, filthy, filthy behavior from GamersNexus. And I'm gonna make a video on it. And I'm gonna make sure, look, man, I hate to share on my social media, my other accounts, because my other accounts are so, they're so controversial. And like, to the point where I have like stalkers, you know, like I have stalkers. I don't know how many views I'll be able to get that video. You know, will I get banned from Reddit for like, you know, quote unquote spamming and like personal promotion? I don't know, maybe.
Act with wisdom.
I don't know exactly how to best, and this is how they control the internet. They control the internet by what you can and can't post here and there. You know, the talent agencies and this, that, and the other that control, and the intelligence agencies that control the internet. You know, they'll get you banned off of here, they'll get you banned off of there. They won't let you share the link. They'll rip down the Reddit thread. They'll ban your Reddit account. You know, and this, that, and the other. They'll suppress you in the algorithm. I don't know how many views I'm going to be able to get it without sharing it on my main social media accounts. You know, it might be as few as a few dozen, but it might be as many as a few thousand, and maybe it spreads from there. But I can't use my main social media accounts in order to plug the video that I've been promising that I'm going to make, but I haven't actually made it. Because I'm lazy and I'm a dirtbag. I'm a procrastinator, and you know, you see my thumb down? Yeah, I thumbed it down. Take that. YouTube dislike viewer. Who knows? I use this dislike viewer a lot. It's probably not too many. It's probably like 1%. Yeah, 0%. Very few people saw through it. And honestly, probably this is like 450 people who are just ASUS fans. And they're like, don't make fun of ASUS, man. But they didn't actually catch on to all the lies, like this gap being here, the connectors being disconnected, connector broken, connection broken, yeah, gap abnormal. They didn't catch on to all the lies that in this video. They just thumbed it down because they're ASUS fanboys. But I saw this video and I immediately knew that it was problematic. I immediately knew that it was problematic. I wasn't 100% right in my analysis in some ways, but I immediately knew that something was fishy. It's not to say that Asus, the repair, you know, they outsource the repair apparently, at least parts of the repair. It's not to say that they behaved themselves perfectly or like great, and they did everything right. You know, they shouldn't have tried to sell them the repair to the LCD screen. They shouldn't have in that quote chart, you know, in that quote like included S&H, shipping and handling. They should have made it cheaper, you know, this, that, and the other. But, you know, it'd be nice if their English was better, you know. But, yeah, GamersNexus really, they transitioned from being not so great, maybe, to being like, it's not to say that their past was perfect, because I've found like evidence of fraud in their past, but I really see this video as being like when they took a scam, and they not only scammed to like to save a few $100 here or do this or do that, or but this is just a huge fraud, and it got over 2 million views, and then like other content creators like reacted to it and be like, oh, Asus, you see what Asus did to GamersNexus, bro? Oh my god. So like probably 15 million people, maybe even 30 million people heard about the GamersNexus Asus ROG Ally, you know, quote unquote scam. And the fucked up part, because they did multiple videos, right? They did, this is not the only one. They did like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 videos. But like other influencers made videos as well, and people tweeting about it on Twitter, people about posting about it on Reddit, and this, that, and the other. And the real scam here is that GamersNexus perpetrated a fraud. That's the real scam. They scammed their viewers. They misled their viewers, in rather egregious ways, and they hurt a company maliciously. They maliciously, you know, attacked a company in a disingenuous way, in a very public way. And, you know, if it was one little like white lie or one little gray, you know, a couple of gray areas, like, you know, ambiguous and this, but the evidence is rather overwhelming against GamersNexus here. And they cost Asus, and they presented it in a very public way. They didn't handle it in a private manner. Their goal was to like basically damage and attack Asus. And they probably cost Asus tens of millions of dollars in business. You know, don't buy this from Asus, don't buy that. You know, look what their warranty, Vex Takes, that guy. He made a video like 3 months ago about like an Asus monitor, and they're like, oh, it's Asus, you know, it's a good monitor, but the warranty is meaningless because Asus doesn't stand by their warranty. Because and they popped up this thumbnail. They popped up this thumbnail, or sorry, Vex popped up this thumbnail in his video, and they're like, and he's like referencing this video and this quote unquote scam and this quote unquote failure to uphold their warranty, you know, as his argument for the idea that Asus doesn't stand behind their warranties. And like I said, the real fraud here is what GamersNexus perpetrated against their viewers. And it's not, again, it's not to say that Asus behaved 100% perfect or they couldn't, like, you know, do better, but this video is a malicious fraud. And I'm gonna have to make a video exposing it. I don't really want to. It's not gonna make me any friends. It might get me like, you know, I mean, at best, like a couple dozen subscribers. If it goes viral, I mean, a few hundred if it goes viral. But for the most part, it's probably gonna make me like a whole bunch of enemies. And they're gonna be like, oh, what a piece of shit. What a dirtbag you are for attacking GamersNexus. You know, but again, there's probably more than this. I forget because I haven't really sat down and looked at it in a long time. But you know, they act like this is what they're talking about. Where's, I thought it was like at 150 or something. Yeah. They act like that's the damage that the warranty claim was based upon, or the rejection of the warranty claim. But the real rejection of the warranty claim came from this panel gap, the case being busted open, number one, and number two, the fact that it didn't turn on. Because there were things inside the device that had been sabotaged by GamersNexus and that they had unplugged. They had unplugged cables within the device. They sent it in looking busted. Asus got it. They saw it. Didn't turn on properly. They saw the case was busted. And they said, customer-induced damage. You know, can you blame them? Can you blame them? I wouldn't. So, you know, in my book, in my opinion, this is a total fraud from GamersNexus. And they lie once again when they go to the repair manifest. Because they act like they don't have any idea what Asus is talking about. So, the real fraud here is from GamersNexus. The real scam is from GamersNexus. A lot of people aren't going to want to hear that. A lot of people aren't going to want to hear that. They're not ready to hear that. It's like telling little kids that Santa Claus isn't real. They're going to be very mad, and I'm going to become like fucking frame chasers. I'm going to become fucking frame chasers because they're not going to be able to cope with the fact that they got lied to, that got handlers and talent agents and this and that, and he's speaking to industry insiders, you know, people who have irons in the fire. He's not just some guy who's just making videos in his basement or in his garage, you know. He's a guy who has the phone numbers of people, you know, business interests, and don't say that, or you know, say this or don't say that, or this, that, and the other. You know, intelligence and foreign policy. You know, like, isn't Donald Trump like going after like foreign-made electronics and stuff? You know, they banned Deep Cool. They banned that heatsink manufacturer. I think it's Deep Cool, whatever it is, because they provided like heat sinks to Russia, to like some Russian company or something like that. You know, they use these tech companies to some extent as, you know, the NVIDIA, you know, can't send this and can't send that to China. So there's like foreign policy, diplomacy involved in this stuff. And this guy, you know, his dad might be a CIA agent. Who knows? Like Tucker Carlson's dad is a CIA agent. Or was. I don't know if he might be dead, you know, but his dad was like the leader of Voice of America in Europe, which is a CIA like media organization, you know, where they run like radio stations, and or at least they did. But they still have like a YouTube account and a website and this, that, and the other. And so Tucker Carlson's dad was CIA, you know. And Tucker Carlson used to, you know, carry water for the CIA. He did it for the Iraq War. You know, he did it for the Bush administration. He did it for this, and he did it for that. You know, he's allegedly changed in recent years, and he's been doing a good job. But, you know, for the most part. But yeah, his dad used to be CIA. Like, who's this guy's dad? Who knows? Might there be, like, diplomacy, like, foreign policy stuff, like, involved here? Maybe. But he's got, like, he's not going to be like, oh, you caught me, you know. Whoops. He's going to ignore a video, even if it gets even if my video gets like tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of views, he's going to ignore the shit out of it. And if he does address it, he's going to come out and call me a fraud and call me a piece of shit and this, that, and the other, right? And say that I'm an idiot and say that I've got it all wrong and yada, 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 you know? And, you know, they're not going to be like, oh, yeah, you got it right. Oops, you caught us. It's going to be a nasty situation. I'm not expecting it to go that far. I don't think that many people are going to view it. You know, if I'm lucky, the video might get like 5,000 or 10,000 views. But, you know, those people are going to figure out the truth. They're going to find out the truth. And there you go. But for the most part, like these influencer like circles, they're like managed by talent agents and this, that, and the other. You can't get through to them. You know, they don't fucking care. They don't fucking care. You know, like I could go to some Reddit forum, like even the ASUS Reddit forum, and post it there, and like GamersNexus lied. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I mean, I envision my video, my Reddit thread, if I post it there, I envision that being deleted. I envision that if I tweet it out to their official accounts, it's going to go ignored. And they're not going to say like, oh, wow, good job. You figured it out or whatever. Or like, oh, wow, you know, we didn't know. Why are you near me making noise? Go over there and make noise. Let me go over here. Maybe I'll get away from the noise a little bit. I guess we're gonna hang out in the shade. But yeah, I envision my video is gonna get a lot of hate. I don't think it's going to be appreciated. So, but I need to get off my ass and make it. I bet you I could make it in like a week or so. Man, it's hard to nail all the details though. But yeah, I envision if I post it in like the ASUS subreddit, it's going to be deleted. I envision if I tweet it out to ASUS official accounts, it's going to be ignored. If I tweet it out to influencers, it's going to be ignored. If I post it in their Discord, oh, I got a private Discord, and this, that, and the other. I envision it being ignored, and I envision myself being banned from their Discord for like personal promotion or for because they don't want to stand up to GamersNexus. You know, they want to. Jay's 2 cents is over there, like, you know, can we please be friends, GamersNexus? Can we? Oh, look at what ASUS did to GamersNexus, you know. And then look over here, right? Look over here. Jay's 2 cents. My response to NZXT's anti-consumerism. This is a response to GamersNexus. GamersNexus's video. Okay. So Jay's 2 cents, you know, if GamersNexus puts out an attack on NZXT, somewhat justified, Jay's 2 cents is going to fall in line. He fell in line on the ASUS thing. So, it, you know, it is what it is. Sorry, I had to mute my microphone for a second. But yeah, I'm gonna get attacked if I actually put this video out. If I get off my ass and do it. Okay. So Jay's 2 cents, you know, if GamersNexus, if GamersNexus puts out an attack on NZXT, somewhat justified, Jay's 2 cents is going to fall in line. He fell in line on Asus thing. So, you know, it is what it is. Sorry, I had to mute my microphone for a second. But yeah, I'm gonna get attacked if I actually. Sorry, I was checking the. Got distracted. I was checking the audio on the stream. So, anyways, I'll go ahead and end the stream there. I'm going to make this video. It's going to probably get ignored and probably earn me a lot of haters. But it's the truth. So, that's what matters, is it's the truth. And it's the quote-unquote right thing to do. Extra Emily, extra Emily, extra Emily, extra. What the fuck? What's going on there? It's like they really want me to subscribe to Extra Emily for some reason. And they like to send Emiru or whatever. I don't know how to say that name. They like to send me Emiru too. It's not like I want them hard, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that's to just me or to everybody. The Asus situation is way worse than you think. Here's Vex.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube banning ad blockers? Like,
to the
chill
Asus
guys, just use
situation.
Pi. It's a free Chrome extension.
Do you remember when Asus promised that they're going to improve their customer service? Would it surprise you if I told you that nothing ever changes? After this, Asus would be completely willing to basically scam you out of your firstborn child. Before it was Asus motherboards exploding, and now it's thousands of claims with custom child.
Hey guys,
before
when
it was
we
Asus.
overclock our processors, they blow up. Fuck Asus. When we overclock our processors,
Motherboards exploding,
and I don't know what this is about, but I do know that they did some overclocking with Asus boards, and they were like criticizing it because they're like, that's not a safe voltage. It allows us to up it to an unsafe voltage. Well, you know, and then if they put, you know, the guardrails in place, and if they put the training wheels on the bike, then you complain about the training wheels and like, oh, it's so, you know, they don't allow us to fiddle with the settings. You know, you can't overclock on this. You can't do this. You can't increase the voltage very much. This, that, and the other. And then, you know, and then you get that complaint. But if they allow you to increase the voltage a lot, then you fry your chip, and then you say, cool, Asus, you dirtbags. I can't believe you did this. I can't believe you allowed us to do this. So, you know, it is what it is. But here's
customer service. It is awful.
It's awful. It's awful.
To ask the chat what you guys just thought about Asus before this whole thing.
Before, what was your, and he's got this little joke. It's sus. Asus is sus. I used to love Asus. Seen it, I'm a little worried now because I got the G14, which I guess is probably a laptop, and I just don't want any trouble, you know, all this type of shit. and he's calling Asus sus.
And honestly, the chat is pretty 50-50 about kind of taking a nosedive. I've had some odd experiences. I bought a laptop from them. The thing on it, like the charging block, what, like 2 or 3 days out of warranty, and it broke. And they did not replace it for me. I remember I made a video on it and people were like, oh, you're just entitled. It's like, bro, it's like 2 days, man. Like, Jesus.
But anyways, like this whole video is he's reacting 61,000 views to a fraud. He's attacking Asus based upon fraud. So, you know, and who knows what he says in this video? Like, oh man, Asus is so bad. Oh man, dirtbag Asus. Like, I can't believe what they did. Like, oh, they're so terrible, man. I'm never gonna buy any of their products anymore, bro. You know, this, that, and the other. This is probably what this video is about. 49 minutes of it. You know, and it's all based upon the original video, the original lies, not just lie, but lies. And it's filthy. It's disgusting. It's filthy. It's disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. And, you know, I find it to be very problematic, and I find it to be morally unacceptable. So I'm going to have to make the video. I told people that I was going to make a video in like some comment sections and stuff. And I never did because I'm a dirtbag. But I'm going to have to make it. I have to at least put some effort in. I have to at least put some effort in. I have to at least, you know, attempt to set the record straight. And again, it's not going to get me any fans. It's going to get me a few fans. But for the most part, it's going to bring me nothing but trouble. But the truth is the truth, and lies are lies, so fuck it. Anyways, I'm going to end the stream there. I've covered the topics that I said I was going to cover in a very long-winded, shitty streamer. But for basically a first stream, I mean, it could be worse. I have been lying to you. And the clickbait. Clickbait.
Responsibility isn't easy.
Man, they're selling extra Emily extra hard. She's fun. This guy reminds me of somebody. Like Corey Feldman or something. He reminds me of Corey Feldman. View my channel. How long is my stream? Probably way too long. But anyways, I'm gonna. They're selling. Let me mute it. Yeah, it's over 3 hours now. So I'm a long-winded bastard. I'm gonna try to make it short and concise, in the future, and get to the fucking point. And but I think I said that I was gonna talk about Guild Wars 2 versus Everquest. And GamersNexus is questionable credibility. I didn't prove anything in this video. I didn't, you know, go into all the details, so to speak, or talk about them in a very structured way. But I sort of brought up some of the points, you know. I hinted at some of the problems. And there's a whole nother, that's just one problem. This is just one video. I've got them in multiple things doing shady, at least one extra video doing shady stuff. Although this one really takes the cake in terms of views and in terms of multiple lies. The other one, I don't know if it's multiple lies or if it's just one. It might be multiple lies, but it's not as heinous because they really went after Asus, like pedal to the metal, like very maliciously. This other one is pretty malicious, but it's not quite as nasty. And it's a pretty big lie, but it's not quite as heinous. But anyways, I talked about their questionable credibility. So I feel like I covered the topics that I wanted to cover in my first stream, quote unquote. It's basically like a beta test stream. Hell, the audio on this is in fact, I listened to my phone there for like 30 seconds or whatever. Man, it's picking up so much noise. I might have to turn that damn NVIDIA noise cancellation shit back on. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might need to get some like soundproofing panels to help cut down on some of the noise, because it's just like, and it's probably, part of it is probably just using a lavalier microphone is not a great idea. You know, anytime I like scratch my arm, you guys can probably hear it, like, you know, that's me scratching my arm. You guys can probably hear every little thing. It's like ridiculous. How much noise this thing picks up. It's like, my voice is like, it's like, oh yeah, that's all right. I mean, we'll do a little bit of that, but how about this noise? You know, let's turn the volume up on the noise. So I might need to turn the NVIDIA broadcast noise cancellation stuff back on. It's depressing to go from like my other YouTube or my other social media account where I get hundreds of views within like an hour to go to this one and get like 0. I mean, to be fair, I don't even have a logo. I don't even have a logo. So sad. Gonna have to create a logo. All right.
Didn't see you there.
I covered what I said I was gonna cover. I'm probably gonna play like an hour of Guild Wars 2. It's like they know I'm streaming and they're just like, I'm gonna fuck with the stream. Like, why is he over here going off on me? He doesn't know that I'm streaming. But there's someone in here. I just downloaded this game. I don't know who this person is. There's someone in here who does 3D graphic work. And I'm gonna have to actually, they've never streamed it before with OBS, and so I'm gonna have to like maybe make an OBS tutorial. Maybe I can get them to subscribe to the channel, and this, that, and the other. And you know, when you're small, when you start a channel from scratch, it can be difficult to get started. That's just kind of how it is. So you gotta like pick up like a, you know, try to get your guild members to, that's not guild members, that's somebody else. No, that's not guild members either. But you gotta get your guild members to subscribe. You gotta like, you know, find a sneaky way to like promote here and there. And then, you know, hopefully a couple dozen subscribers become a couple hundred, and a couple hundred become a couple thousand, and then a couple thousand become more. The idea is to go up, you know. So it's not to say that I'm, you know, want to be too famous or too this or too that, but or I want to build, you know, things up like huge, but it'd be nice to get like, you know, to be able to you know, get some views on stuff that, you know, occasionally I have, you know, ideas that I think are worth sharing. And videos that I could hypothetically make. that deserve views and people ought to see. And you know, the GamersNexus video is going to be one of them. So, anyways, I'm babbling. You know what else I miss? Everquest 2 had like a sit stand. You can like sit stand, or you can like sit down on the ground. Like you can sit down on the ground here, but it like, first of all, you sit all weird. And it emotes. And it's just not a hotkey on the keyboard. It should be a hotkey on the keyboard. Anyways. It's the little things that count, huh? Everquest had like a hotkey specifically for that. Or at least you could set it. Anyways, I don't know if it did, but you could set it. Alright, I'm gonna end the stream. Boring stream. What a boring stream. 3 hours of streaming that probably could have been done in, I don't know, maybe an hour. So I don't expect anyone, except someone who's fallen asleep, or except maybe some future stalker who wants to watch the first video. The first big, giant fail of a first stream, you know, and they're like, oh, let me check out their first stream, and then they see this one, they're like, oh, how fucking pathetic. Man, they're long-winded. Okay, so I've been talking about ending the stream for 30 minutes now. I need like someone to spray me with like a bottle of water, like a cat. So yeah, we're ending the stream. We're doing it right now. We're doing it right now. Right now. Goodbye. Good riddance to me for continuing to talk.